exactly flat. Futures trying to hold on to positive territory here to get things going on a brand new week. We're positive on the NASDAQ right now. Exactly flat on the S&P 500 as we look towards more inflation data coming up later in the week. This week we'll get some PCE figures to look forward to, more earnings to come as well. Li Auto to the upside this morning, coming off their report pre-market this morning very early on. Over in China, we'll touch on that coming up. There's more Tesla-related headlines as per usual. We'll touch on Tesla. Nvidia, meanwhile, back towards 800 possibly this morning. Just saw this one as well. Amazon popping back up 0.5% to the upside. So the story continues to be tech and strength from tech as we head into a brand new week. It's Monday, February 26, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. That just completely threw me off. I looked at the calendar and realized it's a leap year this year. So anyway, the Qs hanging out at the top end of the range here to get going on a Monday. Once again, this daily chart, pretty impressive as we've been discussing over the past couple of weeks and months more. Well, I mean, it's Micron, so we'll talk about semiconductors, obviously, but Micron with a new deal to make the memory now for Nvidia. I mean, there's so much to get to coming up this week as well. Can we continue just seeing the market back to highs here? Can we continue this rally? Happy Monday.
Yeah. Good morning. How was your weekend?
It was good. How was yours?
Good. Yeah, I can't complain. Relaxed and nice R&R. But yeah, with respect to Micron, Brendo, super interesting here. They make the RAM, the DRAM. And I was watching a video this weekend about NVIDIA's GPU center. So it's not just one little GPU card. It's a series of GPUs put into this square-looking box, and then there's all sorts of other components. Part of that is the RAM, so getting themselves a great deal here, catching on with a good trend.
Yeah, can this be the next leg possibly for the overall market here? We'll have a look at Nvidia as well, back higher a little bit. Just saw a note on Bitcoin here. It's not really moving around, but still holding at the top end of the range here. This is a weekly chart. So 2 weeks in a row here, Bitcoin kind of quiet, just hanging out around 51.5, 52,000. MicroStrategy picking up 3,000 Bitcoins, 155 million at an average price of 51,800.
Wow.
That's aggressive.
Yeah, that is. Okay, so they see a lot of upside, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I was reading a story over the weekend, an interview that he did, suggesting that they're just buying. He's not selling anymore. He's just buying, and will be. So there you go.
So many analysts have a $100,000 price target at the end of the year.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Onward, guys. Not a lot of movement here on Bitcoin on that, but interesting for MicroStrategy.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Just one quick thing, because I'm already into Micron. I threw in the chat there that there was an iceberg at 90 on the way back through, so I covered some in front of the 90 level, or pretty much at the 90 level in front of that iceberg. Just one of trim. At the end of the day, it's pre-market, so it's early. Micron's up. I do want to be long that stock. But, hey, man, if you're aggressive at 51,000, who cares if it's going to 1 million? I'm talking about Bitcoin. This is Micron, by the way. Not that I think that BTC is headed to 1 million or anything like that, but it did bounce pretty nicely off the 50,000 level. The name that I'm watching in that space is going to be Mara, because we get Mara earning this week. He got 23 that held as a bit of a bottom there, so that's going to be in play. You have a tipped over. The Lunar story, like, come on, man. They landed on the moon, and everyone's like, it tipped over. They landed on the moon. 25% down. We'll be watching a little bit of that today because it's SSR play. The chip names are obviously going to be in play. But I didn't win the lottery this weekend, so I couldn't buy any real estate there, Sean.
You didn't win any lotteries?
No. Apparently.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, you don't want to be that lottery dream home there what we were talking about on the podcast. Bringing that up. Have you seen that show?
Okay, so here's the thing. I haven't seen the show you guys are referencing on the podcast. Like, I understand where you were getting at. Everyone go ahead and listen to the podcast so you understand what we're talking about a little bit more in depth, because you should already be doing that in the first place.
Yes.
But the gist of it was, You
I'm
know,
sure Sharif listened to the podcast, right, Sharif?
He did.
Okay.
Of course he did. In addition to some questionable music
I didn't ask him last week.
that he's listening to,
What's the music he's listening to?
he sends me this song that he's like, I've had this in my head all morning. I won't even say it because I don't want anyone to look it up. It's like the lyrics are disgusting, dude. Like the lyrics
Sharif,
are,
man, what the hell's wrong with you?
I mean, wow. I'm a family man. I can't listen to that stuff. No, but
Am I? Yeah, I am human, by the way. Thank you.
oh goodness.
My name is Kanye, and I'm from Mars.
But where would so you didn't really expand on the dream house thing. So what would be the dream house though?
Oh, I just want a condo downtown, man, like a sick penthouse. I don't have to do any maintenance. I don't have to do anything like that. I can go to all the events I want. I chill out. I'm like, yo, concierge, what's good? Stuff like that. You know, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to cut no more. I ain't trying to cut more grass. I ain't trying to do any of that stuff. You know, you got the gym in the place. You got a pool up in there. Make the wife all happy. There ain't no more maintenance. There's nothing to do. But I have to win a lottery for that because I really do like owning property.
True.
And I see that there's some value in that, and Toronto does have a pretty saturated condo market. But that's what I would do. But the thing is, I don't have like $4 or $5 million just hanging around. You know, it's all tied up in Bitcoin. So where would you go?
Well, as Lex Luthor said, land is the one thing they're not making anymore. Right. I just punched out of Micron. It's given up this 90 level. But I actually still like it at 88. I really only want to be long Micron today. So I'm going to take a few shots.
You're putting your lottery dreams into Micron?
Not into Micron. That said, I'm a bungalow person.
Bungalow, yes, perfect.
Like I don't like walking upstairs because I can get lazy. But what I love about most bungalows in the layout is you get like a fantastic like basement to do
so
like
open concept.
Really open concept. You can have like great like I don't know what you like. It's not really like a living room, but a nice little den there, and then
you can put a man cave down there. You can build an ice rink.
Yeah, that's really my thing. Like, I want a really, really good bungalow. But to me, I just want to have something that has a big yard too as well. If I don't have a decent
for the dog you have to run around.
Yeah, for the dog it's running. No, I need a yard. I need a backyard. It's not about the work. I like condos and I hate doing that work myself. I don't like shoveling the driveway. I don't like cutting the grass. But I'm warming to this whole being able to have space for the kids to run around and all that kind of stuff. So I'm a bungalow person. Is what it is.
Shout out to I just lost it. Whose name was that? Oh, they said anyways. They said there it is. Patrick says they also aren't making any more Bitcoin. That's another Lex Luthor thing about no more land. He also was talking about Bitcoin back then 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nvidia's going to break 800, by the way. And also, how good is Palo Alto? That's 290. Like
330's coming.
That's on that report, people were asking, was I buying? Were we buying? Were we buying? I was like, yeah, we should be buying like at 308. And then here's PanW right here. And then thankfully, we didn't have to because we came in the next morning and was able to buy something near the bottom. This is a perfect example, in my opinion. Look, you look smart now when it works. You don't look so smart when it doesn't. But here's a high-quality name that I think is best of breed that gets absolutely annihilated off earnings, comes down into the 200 period moving average, and then it bombs away. I feel like the exact same thing, honestly. We talked about this on the podcast as well. I think Bitcoin is going to be real spicy very soon, man. I mean, here's the sell-off after the ETF. And then it went down like $22, $23. I'm just talking about iBit here. Now you're up to $29. Like, this isn't a month. So it's like we sit here in Pfizer and Ford and all these useless things like Tesla and all this stuff, and then you look over and you're like, what the heck? Like, look at the performance in a Bitcoin all the way up and coiling as well. As Brendan mentioned, maybe we are sitting around here, this 51, which we have down here. You break higher on this one. This is going to get real hot real quick. I like BTC down here.
Sean, I was also still, over the weekend, we were talking about ANF on the podcast as well, Abercrombie and Fitch. And over the weekend, I was looking at this chart a little bit more, and it's just, like, this is another one. Like, Abercrombie and Fitch.
What's going on here?
Like, this is $22 in May of last year, in the summer. It's $122 now.
What is happening?
Your guess is as good as mine. You have. We were also talking about Nvidia, obviously, over the weekend on the podcast. There's so much to digest with this, but this is actually interesting visual here on Sharif's screen there of Jensen with one of these chips.
Yeah, this is, and he's being a little whimsical, Brendo. He's like pretending to take it out of the oven. He's holding on to his little heat pads there. And this is the icing on top of cake. He has it on top of the cutting board. So this is essentially the H100, guys. This is how big it is. You'll see that they're connecting all the different GPUs, and on the side, there's DRAM. Here's a front look of Jensen showing you the H100.
Like, better question, is that his kitchen?
I would hope so. Imagine going to somebody else's kitchen and doing this whole thing. But that's what it is there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were, when you hear the term GPU, you think those. I mean, even the bigger graphics gaming cards are now larger in scale. But I mean, that gives you a good idea. These things are not nothing. I mean, they're essentially an entire rack on in a server. Yeah. Or they can be, multiple tied together. Yeah,
if you were to encompass this in a box, it would be like a tower on one of our computers, Brendo. Yeah, just it's a very compact, and there's a lot of stuff there. The tower is mostly empty, right?
I wonder how many he has just kicking around his kitchen. Crazy.
He's got fewer of those in his kitchen than he does spatulas.
He loves spatulas.
I guess I'm the only, the first thing I saw is, why do you have like 20 different colored spatulas in that picture? Hey man, like, to each their own. Like, that's, like, okay. Like, see where you guys are focused, see where you guys are focused.
He's a baker.
I'm focused on, hey, maybe this guy knows how to make some good oatmeal cookies. That's what I'm thinking about. Nice looking.
I mean, he has a pepper mill there, the salt shaker.
I wear my leather jacket inside in the kitchen all the time, too. Like, you'd be surprised how comfortable that is.
I actually don't like those cupboards.
It's a very classic.
I feel like that's a very conservative. Honestly, I wonder what that house doesn't look overly.
No, it's not
extravagant.
It's not super modern. It looks like it looks like it was probably redone. I don't know, like over a decade ago, which is fine.
He only has a couple billion sitting around. I don't know. You have to figure out what to do with
that. He's got a few. He's got more than one.
I'd rather him focus on making chips than making
yes.
spatula decisions over there.
Oh, exactly.
But, we really like it. Go ahead, yeah.
No, speaking of Nvidia, well, you already said 800 is going to go today. It's at 90. What are we? 98 right now. 798, and it's still well above the gap zone here because the move up on earnings was so big that you really don't have to worry about the previous resistance level anytime soon, because that was like 740 bucks. So, if you look at what's happened the last couple of days since, it's put in one semi-decent, like, defined possible support level at 780, because that's where you consolidated. And the top, I think, is yet to be determined. You have one wick top through about 820. So I think the 780 level loosely is a bit of support, but everyone's going to be stared at 800 again today. I feel like those round numbers, they matter. I like my tensions are going to be a little bit on Micron, because I want to see if it can hold above that 90 level. That would be key. But all roads come through Nvidia. At the end of the day, they are the ones with the ridiculous margins. They're the ones actually making a boatload of money. And on earnings, everyone waited for the Super Bowl, and the volatility hasn't come out of that stock just yet. So we always talk about a couple of days, the highest volatile days after earnings. Nvidia is still in that pocket. I think you got to look there for the volatility first. Although ARM would suggest you can look at that every day.
Yeah, I haven't looked at ARM
it's up 3 points today.
Yeah, no, I really like it. I think that we just stay with NVIDIA. I have it here on the sticky note as a long at 805. We talked about it. I just feels like it's this day. We took something like $40 to $50 on this. We shorted this on Friday. We had this short up here at 820. We had the 800 break. We had this short as well into the end of the day. It was such a fun day. And again, thanks for all the nice comments about the trading day that was Friday. But today I'm going to go long. I really feel like 780 gave us that base. And then this 805, so you can go over the sticky note and find out more about why. But here's 805 right here. I know it's going to be a little bit, you might have to wink in or squint in here to see this, but 805 right there. I really like this for a break long on NVIDIA. We had a problem trying to get, well, hold on a second. Let me have a zoom in this. thing here. There it is. So there's 805 right there on Friday. It looks like we made the high in and around noon. I think if we take that out, 800's just, as Neil mentioned, it's such like a pivot spot there that there's going to be a lot of action around there. I'm not worried about the options on this because it's just Monday. So a lot of people playing weeklies or monthlies will have to continue forward. So only dailies is what we're worried about. I'm not worried about that at 800 bucks, not early in the morning. So I'm looking at 800 to hold, and then if and when we do, then we take out this 805. And then on the downside, I mean, this is not a rocket science thing. You know, someone is much smarter than I is about to come on here, Michael Noss. But this 780, I mean, it held on Friday. So we'll look to buy 780s or so. You know, if it gets down into there, we're buying 780s, we're buying an 805 break. And what a difference a day makes, because we wrote down here, and this is going to be the wrong sticky note as I look for the right one. We had Nvidia short on Friday and absolutely destroyed that. So we're flipping our script today, and I just like the long. The NASDAQ going for a jog here today. Good Micron news. I haven't looked at Micron, but good news there. I think we trade the biggest one, and we trade Nvidia, and we just trade it long.
All right, as mentioned, Michael Noss here to kick off the brand new week with a couple of ideas on the short side this morning. Good morning, Mr. Noss. How are you?
Good morning. How was your weekend?
Good. Fantastic. How was yours?
It rained. It didn't snow, so I can't complain. I don't have to shovel the rain.
The snow behind you, however, is still hanging on for dear life, right?
We still have quite a bit, but less than last week, so I'm not going to complain.
All right, let's talk short side this week. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so I'm doing this and kind of, talking about our short only tournament that we have and actually starts Monday. You can see here, again, if you are a premium subscriber, you're already enrolled. All you have to do is go to your Brokerage Plus and change it to the short only tournament and start trading. If you're not, you can sign up and get a week of the program for $7, and make sure you go to trade-ideas/tradertv for that to make sure you sign up. Maybe you'll win, right? $2,400 brand prize for winning a 2-day tournament where, again, the rules are you can short only. So I thought I would bring to you guys my favorite short setup that we have in Trade Ideas. And you can see just here, I always like to include this for anyone who wants to kind of frantically copy down some of the symbols, but I'll go over the ones that I like the best. The technical idea here is simple, that when you're shorting, personally, and I'm sure I'll get some backup from the guys here, I don't like shorting things that are already selling. In the same way that you can buy momentum, I don't think shorting momentum works the same way, because quite often you get, we call it shorting in the hole, and you get these bounces that can be very violent in your face, even if the overall trend is down. So the idea behind this one is the algorithm that we built in Trade Ideas looks for a resistance point. It looks for a stock on a daily chart to get up over that resistance point and then fail and start trading back under that resistance point. And another friend of the show, Brian Shannon, one of my favorite quotes from him is, "From failed moves come fast moves." So that's what exactly I'm looking for here, is a bunch of people that got trapped into a long trying to break out of a resistance point, and then that reversing the other way. So the first one I have here is HRB. So H&R Block, I don't think this one's going to win any tournaments. It's fairly boring. But for my personal account, I kind of like the look of this. I've always just marked the resistance area in which we're looking at here. And you can see this one sitting around $49 or so. We traded well above that on Friday. We almost touched $50, got really close to $50 a share, and then we reversed entirely. So for me, what I'm going to do with these is watch today's action. If I see some bearish action into the close of today, I can take a short knowing that we may have reversed off of that resistance area. And then worst case stop, if we retake this resistance area, I'm going to get out, right? So these fake out trades, I think, are fantastic little ways to get in when they end up working, because the risk reward is so small. Next, we are talking Goldman Sachs. So Big Daddy Goldman has an area, call it, I think it's 192 to 190, or sorry, 392 to 395. In that area, there's been a couple of these. If you look back on the chart now, 2 days in a row, we failed at that area and we reversed back down. And then last week we did it. And then the week before that, we did it again. So we've had a couple pretty sizable reversals around this area. So if we get some bearish action off that zone today, that's where I'm going to take my trade. Worst case stop is over those topping tails. Next here on Amazon. So I had to zoom in real close here because it met the criteria, but it was barely. But I still like the candle setup. So Amazon was great looking trade. If it can get over, it's 175 is the resistance area and hold. Actually looks pretty good for a long. If you look at the bottom corner on our picture-in-picture chart, that's the monthly chart. It's really extended to get up to these all-time highs, but it's doing well at these all-time highs. But it met the criteria where on Friday it came up, it broke that 175 area by a few ticks and then got rejected down and closed below that resistance point. So if we get a bearish candle today, if you kind of envision that on the chart, that looks to be a little evening star pattern where you have an up candle, you've got this little doji spinning top candle, and then a down candle. So I'm going to watch for that. But if this one actually ends up trading higher and breaking through and holding through that resistance, it could be a nice trade down. Now, this one, especially hearing what Sean was talking about when I was in the green room here, this one might be a little controversial, but the QQQ had the same pattern. So that high that we had, I think a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, we traded through that high on Friday. We failed at that high and we actually closed lower. So I'm watching this one to move lower. Now, the reason that I have the TQQ up instead of the QQQ is just a little tip that I want to give to people for the short-only tournament. You're allowed to short whatever you want. So, if you're interested in being bearish in the market, go find a double or a triple leveraged product to get involved there. For me personally, I am going to look to take this because I do a lot of the trading in my long only account. I'm going to look at the SQQQ, which is just the inverse of this chart. But again, for the tournament and for fun, I'm going to try to look to see if I can short TQQQ as a way to get some exposure to the downside.
It's a risky proposition and an interesting concept when you talk about that, momentum to the upside. I wanted to go back to the first one you mentioned there, HRB. Going into tax season, I have no data on this, and I'm putting you on the spot here, I realize that, but going into tax season, I feel like we talk about these a little bit more during, the first 3 or 4 months of each year than any other time of the year, and typically it's on the positive side. Any weighting towards that at all when you're thinking about that?
Well, I never thought about it, but if we look at the chart here, we're going to have to look at the monthly chart in the lower left. If we go up to H&R block there, slide 3 there, and again, it's the lower left chart, so it's a smaller one, but the bottom of H&R block on that chart actually happened the beginning of 2021, and you can see a nice little move up there. The before that, screaming move higher was the beginning of 2022. And now maybe we kind of front run it a bit. So we were pretty aggressively bullish at the end of 2023 this year. So maybe it gets front run. But it does make sense that not many people are going to care too much about the H&R block stock. But maybe around this time of year is when you start getting people to guess whether or not there are going to be more people using the product or less people when they're filing their taxes.
It's the favorite time for a lot of people, favorite time of year anyways, for a lot of people, and I say that sarcastically anyways. Michael Noss, CMT over at Trade Ideas. Happy Monday, happy new week. We'll speak again soon.
Talk to you soon.
All right, yeah, H&R block, very, very interesting. Now I'm all peed off about the whole taxes situation.
Why are you peed off about
I hate paying taxes. I mean, I got to do them.
I'm doing my taxes on Wednesday.
I actually don't mind paying them. Mine takes me forever to do it. I got to download all the stuff. I got to mark stuff as like food or not, or like if it's stuff for the show or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just keeps on going and going and going. It sucks. I hate it. But hey, welcome Michael Noss. He'll be on tonight's market recap show as well. So we'll recap some of those plays, see how they worked out today, and we'll talk about the short only contest. So thank you, Michael Noss, one more time there. He's going to be wrong about Amazon, and I don't know. No, I really
I thought it was breaking all time. Oh, sorry, it's 52-week highs, not all time.
Yeah.
52 2-week high.
So Amazon, we had Amazon punching the long through 175 on Friday, and it didn't work at all. I think we were talking about, I think this was one of maybe 2 losers that we had there. We got to 175, we broke the long early, then faded back out and bounced off 173.50, and then the rest was history, as they say. Nice close at 175, and now you take out 175. I really like the long here on Amazon. A new Dow component. I think it sings here for a little bit. I like Amazon. So, but I do understand why it shows up on the scanner. I mean, he mentioned what it was, fail break of recent highs. So, I mean, that's exactly what happened on Amazon. So, if you're not bullish on it, then yeah, don't trade it, and you have good short levels, like right here. I mean, these are highs, and you can short against 176.50. So I think that the trade is here for Amazon today. It's going to be something I'm looking at, 500,000 shares. I like it. I'm going to be long Amazon at some point today. I'm already it's the only bid I have. I'm bidding already 175.
Yeah, I'm kind of bullish on it too. Like in this market, in a bull market, I think you want to take some shots on breakouts when they happen on significant stocks. And I think Amazon sort of fits that bill. That said, you know, when you're looking for short opportunities, like rejections of those levels are key. He said if it rejects today,
yeah.
We're day trading, so it has not. It is above that 175 zone today. So that's sort of the difference. If it fails it again today, I would possibly change my mind about that level. Like AMD, I thought AMD was breaking out that 184, 185 zone. Spent a couple of days up there, and it failed it. So, you know, like eventually these kind of things happen, but yeah, I'm sort of a fan here. Like, you had a bit of a double top. You're holding above that level. I tried to get rid of this wick a second ago, and it doesn't like me. But then here, I'm going to use my trade ideas chart just to quickly show you AMD, which was a very similar top. Like, it looked to me last week that we would be breaking out this top on AMD. And guess what? You got to that high, you pulled back and rejected it. Now, it's a muted pullback so far, but it doesn't mean... it certainly doesn't mean it can't break it out. I think that's what Michael Ellis is talking about. Some of these key significant price levels, when you get that fail break and all that exuberance, it does give you a chance at a pullback. I'd still be long-term always thinking the market goes up, prove me otherwise. But those key fail breaks can be good reversals for you. Still thinking breakouts for now on Amazon.
Gap here getting an upgrade from JP Morgan, here trading a little bit to the upside. CVS Health getting an upgrade from Leerink Partners. Amer Sports here with an upgrade from UBS, and Leerink Partners also upgrading Cardinal Health. For downgrades, Rivian getting a downgrade from Barclays, price target of 12. Also of note here, Truist also downgraded Rivian, gave them a price target of $11, down from 26. So lots of downside in terms of price targets for Rivian, but the stock is trading higher. Moderna getting a price target increase, but a downgrade from HSBC Securities over some concerns about its RSV vaccine. Some notes on that in the watch list. Barrick and Newmont also both getting downgrades from Argus here, guys.
What's the ticker for Amer Sports? That was just a recent IPO, but I forget the ticker already.
Yeah, well, I have no idea. So I'll just go over to something I do know. I'm going to talk to, actually, if I can remember correctly here later on. What's up, Ponzi Fonzie? I was thinking, you know, this Barrick Gold, like, Michael really liked this name up here, 18, 19 bucks. So I'm gonna have to ask him. I'm not in this name. I don't like to invest in gold, but I never have. So it's not. I shouldn't say I don't like it. I just never really have. I guess that's because I don't like it. So, but anyways, it's a pretty decent move down here in Barrick. So I feel like there has to be something here for this name. So we'll have to find out, because you're bouncing off $14, and if you want to buy depressed assets right now, you know, there's not too many of them in the tech space, so maybe you have to go over and look at something like gold. Obviously, that's Barrick Gold. The actual ETF is right here. So this is GLD, and GLD was actually trading quite well. I mean, it's been going, you know, gold's going to be a little bit of a rate story, obviously, as well, as people keep trying to equate, you know, holding gold based on what, you know, GDP forecasts or what maybe the economy is doing, and things that are potentially not going well worldwide. You know, nationally, we've talked about some China worries and things like that, and then now, again, some of those death tolls that are coming out of Russia and Ukraine. But that's it's not. The idea here is that gold was just at highs. We've dipped down a little bit here. We've bounced off the 200 period. So GLD seems to be pretty stable right now, place to store a value. But Yeah, up to 194, back down to 184 right here. So a little bit of a range, and that's just not what Barrick Gold looks like. So there's definitely something here, maybe with an issue with one of their mines, or I don't know. But anyways, nice move to the downside there with Barrick Gold. So yeah, interesting to see that downgrade. We won't be trading it, but maybe this is something that we pick up in our long-term portfolio, just because if it's such a depressed asset down here and not really following the underlying gold price. So
Problem is,
something's wrong with it.
everyone likes Bitcoin. I don't know. I like.
Yeah.
I would feel like I just don't want to do both. And it's like if you have certain buckets in your portfolio, and if you've decided that your 5% is in crypto, then do I really want it in gold? I don't know. I think there's a trade. There's always a trade there. It was Amber is AS, but it doesn't do any volume. I looked at it. It's actually a good IPO. Amber is up since the IPO and actually breaking out. But Rivian on that board, it hasn't found the bottom yet. Let's put it that way. That's easy to say after 3 days. But you did touch $10. It bounced off 11. It gave you bounces each of those days. It bounced off 11. Now it's trying to bounce off the $10 that happened on Friday. So let's see if it does that again. Once it holds a bottom twice, I usually like it a little bit better. Like I want to see those double bottoms on stocks like that. First time through, the even dollars have been holding. But up 2%, even though it got a downgrade, probably speaks more to how bad things were, more than anything else. It's like a relief rally. At this point, going back up 2% is essentially nothing on Rivian because it's fallen, what was that, from earnings? Let's just call it a third.
Yeah,
Close enough.
maybe even. Well, a lot of that was done on that same day, but
Yeah.
we've even went down even more.
It was 10% down on Friday, I think.
Yeah, 27 or something on the earnings day, and then downside there. Sticky notes up on Instagram and on Twitter for those of you asking, and then there's some people on the chat asking about Walmart. So the problem with Walmart is no problem. It's split 3-to-1 today. So if you're worried about your Walmart shares or like why is it down to this price, you'll get 3 times the shares. So if you bought a share at 160 or whatever it closed at, you get divided by, right? So Walmart today, the only problem is I'm going to show you something in a second when I zoom back out. Our charts, you can see from here, they won't 59 divided by 3. So it closed at 175-ish. You're going to be able to see that it just ticks all the way down. I'm hoping that our charts will eventually one day adjust for that. So if you are at real trading, see if you zoom out, this is what I mean. Like look at the chart from Friday. So it just looks a little bit chaotic. So I'll be trading Walmart, but I'm going to give it a little bit. Maybe a $60 break higher would give you that 180 break. So just for you guys wondering about what's up with Walmart, a break of 60 would be 180. And I think that that's pretty key because 180 on the daily held. So.
First 30 minutes brought to you by our friends at Hedgeye. Hedgeye was founded by former hedge fund manager Keith McCullough in 2008. You can get Keith's trade signals for 8 mega cap U.S. stocks every day before the market opens with Hedgeye's Momentum Stock Tracker. Get access at hedgeye.com/TTV. Let's get a check of the overall market here. Sharif will lead us off with a look at the futures.
5102, guys. That's where we closed out on Friday. Let's look at the overnight high, 5107. The overnight low, 5087. If we maintain our position above 5100, let's see if we can hold that 100-point level. If not, let's look at the overnight low as an area of support. And then with respect to the resistance, that pop that we had there on the 23rd, we got to 5097, 5100, sorry. Not 5097, Brendo. 5123. Let's look for that 51.25 as resistance.
The numbers just continue to go up and up and up and up. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab that free resource for you. Go to watchlist.tradertv.live or scan that QR code, enter your email address, and then you get everything you need to know in the pre-market every single day delivered right to your inbox. 1.18 right now for Nvidia. It looks like basically nothing, however, because we've had such a huge move. A little bit of a gap to the upside here. We're holding just below 800, as the guys were mentioning. It's going to be all about 800 here again for Nvidia.
Yeah, what a critical level. And it's nice that we didn't actually break it in the pre-market. You want to see that being broken during regular market hours. It gives that break more validity. We'll see how it does. But the other microchip name here is Micron that has a catalyst on the day. It announced that it began volume production of its HBM 3E, which is a high bandwidth memory solution. That's going to be included in NVIDIA's H200 tensor processor GPU, so we'll see how they do.
A few people were mentioning SMCI. Just remember going back to Friday, there was that debt announcement for them as well.
I know, and it's right back up to SMCI, up a couple of percentage points today. It's definitely worth watching. I feel like in that competition that TradeID is doing, the short-only competition, I feel like there's going to be a few people that bet short on SMCI, just in terms of looking for percent returns. But if you're chasing that ghost, everything starts. It doesn't start and end with Nvidia because there's a million things to trade, but everything starts with Nvidia. And as we were saying earlier, it hasn't really settled down yet at all since earnings, relatively speaking. And obviously, it's still going to move, but you still have wild volatility the last couple of days. I do like what 780 looks like on this little bit of a downside. If you do get an 800 rejection, that's the level I'd look for. I know you're looking at the 805 breakout. The only reason I'm looking breakout elsewhere is because Micron has its own news, and it's at the 52-week high on Micron. So I was in it. It did pull back. It's pre-market. It is early, but this top here on Micron, you tested it back in January, right at the beginning of the year, pulled back into the 80 level, put in the higher low, and now it's looking to break it out. So I want longs above 90. I do like a dip into 88, like that previous resistance level, if we get in there at the open. But this is the one I'm looking to first. But as Michael was mentioning about failed breakouts, if it's a sell day today, okay, obviously Intel, because they're still down in weeks since their earnings. And I'm looking at exactly the same level as the last 3 days. So every single day last week, okay, not every day last week, I think almost every day last week it was shorting Intel. But the last 2 days was off the same level, 43.5. I think that's exactly where you look to, the 43.5 zone. It's AMD that's more interesting because it's sort of a new idea. AMD did not break out that 185. It looked like it was double top about to go. Suddenly it's putting in a lower high, and I marked off 181. So that was the close on Thursday, and that was the breakdown price on Friday. So if this pops in there, that's at least a name that I would look short at 181, short at the 184, because it did fail to break out on AMD. Remains to be seen what happens with Amazon in its top. But this is the example that Michael was just talking about when you get a failed breakout and you get some downward momentum on a stock there in advanced micro devices.
Yeah, so whoopsies. I was just looking to see what was going on there. Okay, so yeah, look, we've talked about this again. I feel like you're going to just want to trade the biggest and the best today. Micron, obviously, with the news is great. We'll sort of talked about that a little bit. I just really want to look at Nvidia. This was such a fun trade on Friday. Those of you that were watching, you know what we were doing. We shorted this 820. We had about a $23 winner, and then we hit it short through $8 again. We did it again and again, and we had this short again into the close into 780. It was a day to remember for me. But okay, so 805. I really think we get going again here today. Look, that was a nice little dip buy opportunity. If you had sort of the gumption to sit in there and buy that dip, great for you. I don't know when the next time we get back there, to be honest with you. And if we do, I think it's going to have to be today, and we're going to retest that bottom. Anybody selling Nvidia, I feel like his FOMO is going to always be the thing here until this market really, really turns itself around. Then you'll wonder why you didn't sell. But until that situation, I feel like this is a very, very strong buy. So down here at 780 is huge, a break of 805. I already sort of talked about it. That was the high there from the Friday, about noon it was made. The high was at the open, but that was the intraday high sort of that we made as we tried to climb back. So I like to take that out, but we'll see. If the market starts to trend down, then we don't want to get anything until 780. So we'll wait for 780, which is that dip down there from Friday. I feel like it went to 775. Yeah, 775. So you got to give it at least $5. So that's exactly what we wrote down here, right on this sticky note. We wrote down 775. So go find it at Trader TV, Sean. 400,000 subscribers to the show. Let's get this to 500. We'll get that updated very, very soon. So thank you everybody for that. 45,000 here, and there it is right there, NVIDIA. If you want to go find out, 805, 780, with a couple notes on that as well. New home sales coming through today. It is Randy, and I'm always glad to see you on a Monday. How's it going? All right. Nice little coffee. You had a coffee this morning? Two coffees. You got the large Tim Hortons on the way in, or? Is it extra large or large?
Extra large.
Extra large, I like that, I like that. Yeah, we should get you a chair, you just sit here. Oh, by the way, Rivian is, I've been buying Rivian, but you know what? I didn't buy any more dips. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But Rivian's now through 10, or almost through 10 bucks, making all-time lows here, Randy. So there's Rivian. Here's earnings. Nice to see you. Howdy do. All the way down, breaking through its all-time low of 11 and change. So now we wait for Rivian. I'm just glad I didn't buy IPO at 108. Thanks for the advice on that one. All right, we'll be buying some Rivian down lower, but we have a Chinese name that I know somebody that was in this, but bailed. Bailed well, I think. But now, nice report there for Li Auto today. Let's go find out from the man himself, Sharif.
Yeah, it was a pretty good out. It was a pretty good out.
Do I have to talk about this, Brenda?
We do.
About this, Brenda?
We do. It's noteworthy. It's newsworthy. It's 12% for Li Auto. Off, let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Better than expected results here.
That's what it is, Brendo. And look, I still feel the same way about this company that I did before, but it doesn't really matter what I think. It matters what the market thinks, and the market did not like this. A lot of geopolitical headwinds, we know that for sure. But let's talk about how the company did. Vehicle sales increased 133% quarter over quarter on the year. With respect to revenue, grew from 5.8 billion. That was a huge surprise to the upside. The outlook, though, that's the only thing that's really a little bit light. So they're guiding about 100,000 to 103,000 for cars for Q1 of this year. The street was looking for more like 120 to 130, Brendo. So that's why I don't think we're up 25%. We're up 13 or so because the guide's a little light.
We were talking about it before. I wanted to get, Randy left, but I wanted to get his opinion on this BYD supercar that came out this morning, $230,000 quote unquote Ferrari killer. But anyway, 40 bucks here, guys, for Lee holding on right now.
Well, the thing is about Li Auto, like the volume is never really, it's never great compared to, say, NIO or XPeng. I think for day traders, that can be a bit of a sticking point. That said, I pulled it up this morning because that's what you do. If the stock is in play, we're going to go over it and have a quick look at it for you guys. 38.5 looks like the key price to me. I haven't heard Wayne, one of the office managers in the back, mentioning this as well. So I think a lot of eyeballs would be holding above 38.5. Can it do that? It's weird to me that you would be up 12% when the guide wasn't good, but that speaks more to, as Shreve was saying, like maybe it would be more than that if it wasn't the case. So it wasn't a perfect report, and I mean, ultimately, if you're going to tell me that you have bad guidance this quarter, the way that these guys did, I'm usually thinking 12% in the other direction. Price action is what it is, 38.5. If it holds the open, I suppose I would look for some longs there, but not at the open. Li Auto just doesn't have enough volume for me, and I've never really traded it maybe one time. So I'm going to stay away. If that 38.5 holds the open, then it's worth a look after you've had some volume come into it. So that key level on the daily chart is what I'll be concerned with. I checked over to see if NIO was possibly giving the breakout that I wanted on this news, and it's not really. It's above 550 now, so there might be something there above the 550 level. But this stock, it's been holding the bottom, and that's about all you can say for it. So I might look at the 550 level after the opening range here. NIO tends to do pretty good volume. On sympathy, if Li Auto holds gains, I can see NIO maybe making a run at the 580 level. And that might be a little bit easier to sink your teeth into. I just feel like Li Auto's probably going to have a stupid spread at 930. I don't want to touch that.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, I'm not trading Li Auto or XPEV or NIO today. I'll be trading Alibaba. We put this one on the sticky note here today. I really like Alibaba one more time. Down to 75 bucks. We've been really trading this one over the last little while. We've done really well on it, so we're going to stick with it. $75. I mean, we've shorted this level. We've longed this. There's been now a couple days in a row where we're going to try to hold above. 75 looks pretty clean. 74.80 to the bottom. 74.50 there, too. So I think there's a lot of support down here for now, and until we get that like sort of negative sort of story from China, which we always wait for those. I think you trade Alibaba to the long side. We talked a little bit about this on the podcast as well. Really producing well. Some of those numbers we had there on the podcast were the Chinese dollar values there, but the sales these guys have are through the roof. I really like Alibaba, and you want to talk about a name that would be double its price if it was a U.S. company, it would be Alibaba. They're producing high level, high storage, high cloud, high sales. I really like Alibaba, and I'm not the only one. A lot of funds are in this name. I like this dip buy into 75. I am now bidding 75 Alibaba and 175. Ooh, 75 Baba, 175 Amazon is what I'm looking at here today. And again, you can go find it on the sticky note at Trader TV, Sean. So go have a look there, see what's going on, and yeah, we'll go back over to the desk again. Ooh, Google. You know what? Google wasn't super exciting to me on Friday. That was another one that we dipped in front of that 144 area, and it didn't work out too well there. I feel like there's always some negativity around Google, especially with some of those AI generations and stuff like that. So let's go over and find the story out with Google.
You and I were just talking about this, but yeah, we'll talk about Google here. There's a couple things to note. Going into the weekend, we were talking about this debacle with their image generator.
Yeah.
I was playing around with the video. What's it called?
Sora?
Sora or whatever. It's very hard to get anything, like some of the prompts that they used on the actual demo of the videos that they posted are almost a page long. Like to get it that detailed, it's very, very difficult. But anyways, it's really cool.
Interesting.
I tweeted this out on Sunday. I was reading this article from insiderintelligence.com. Global viewers now watch more than 1 billion hours of YouTube on their TVs daily. So smart TVs, you know, basically in everyone's house at this point. But I thought that was kind of crazy. It's 30 on average, 36 minutes daily for YouTube versus Netflix, 34 minutes on TVs again. So unreal for YouTube continuing to impress.
I can only talk about myself, and I know personally that I have been watching a lot more YouTube in general and specifically on my television. With my cable service, I now have a built-in app on my little cable box there that I can stream YouTube off. My friend was nice enough to give me an addition to YouTube Premium. I always seem to find my way into these costs.
Until they start password sharing.
Until they start password sharing. But the headline today, Brendo, is the bringing of AI onto a smartphone. We already talked about the launch of Gemini. That was on the website. Now they're bringing what they call Gemini Nano. And that's going to be an AI LLM on your phone. You're not going to need to connect to the cloud for this. So there are a number of reasons for this. Number one, you don't have to use data. So in situations where you don't have data access, you can still use it. Number two, for secure information, Brenda, we heard a lot about Salesforce make this argument earlier. You're sending all that private information onto the cloud. You don't know what they're going to do with it or who's going to intercept it. This actually keeps it on your device.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to come still, the very, very early days. I mean, Sean, you and I were talking about the Reddit angle as well. Google doing a deal with Reddit for their database, essentially, on the AI side of things. So still more to come as far as AI and Google are concerned.
I mean, I keep calling it Google, but of course it's Alphabet, as we always just call it Google all the time. Look, I mean, my kids represent about, I think it was 300 million hours of that a month on streaming for YouTube. I mean, they literally, you know, my daughter will sit there and watch it on the TV. So it's like, you know, you build these man caves only to go down there and realize that your daughter is sitting there watching some kind of hockey video or something like that, which is fine. But she's definitely all over that.
Improve, right?
Yeah, and then, so anyways, I really like YouTube. I feel like it's going to be huge moving forward and continues to be that way, especially with all these cord cutting, and Sharif just mentioned sharing somebody else's Google password. Seems weird. But anyways, 142.50. Look, this name is weak, man. This is my largest holding. I really like it, but you're starting to break down. This does not look like the others. Something looks different. All the, like Amazon breaking, Apple looks different as well, but Meta to the top, all the chip names, Microsoft. So, you know, this is a little lagger. I feel like you're going to want to buy some dips here, but yeah, definitely negativity surrounding monetization, possibly, of their products. It's nice to hear that maybe Sora is not as easy to use as people maybe once thought. That could help the story for Google, but again, AI is in such its infancy right now. I feel like this is definitely a name you want to buy. I'm a little off on it. Like, I want to buy dips, but I feel like the short is really so much better. So into 145 if we rally, I feel like you want to fade this name. So unfortunately, it hurts me to say that, but Google is definitely a name that I'm buying on dips, but I've already done my shopping, and now we'll have to wait for lower prices, honestly. It's like, you know, I'm waiting for those Walmart rollbacks on Google. So,
Or I thought you were going to say discount double check.
I'll do a discount double check
Your
as well.
absolute favorite quarterback in the NFL with the discount double check when you get those deals.
Aaron Rodgers is my second favorite quarterback because without him, we would have not been able to see how good Jordan Love is.
Fair enough.
So thank you for accepting $50 million to play 3 snaps.
Hey, man. It is what it is. I actually, you know, I think Love's going to be fantastic. But Google, the only difference I have with Google is going to be the 144 level. It was a fail, the 144. I liked the long last week at that price, and if I like a long at a price and it fails it, then generally speaking, if it happens twice, I'm going to like the short there for momentum. So it was a fail break. It was a fail dip buy the first time through that turned into resistance, and then the same thing happened on Friday that turned into resistance. So I think it's a short into 144. That simple. I love Google. I think they're fine. I watch. We cut the cord in my household this year, and we watch a lot of YouTube as well. Obviously, it's at the 50 period at 142, so that's why I think you could see a bounce into 44 today, because it could easily just bounce off the 50 period on the daily. But I don't know. I like Amazon more. It was at the top. It was at the top of my list for the Mag 7 names that weren't chip names. But Google, I think, is more of a short if the market can take us even up there, because it's 1% away from that 144 level. So we might not see that at the open.
Let's talk about it. Lucid and Rivian up next here. Back to $3, or it's trying to bounce anyway. For Lucid, coming off that earnings report, they came out with a few new models. The one thing that continues to confuse me about these companies, and Rivian's in this boat as well. March 7th, the date for Rivian for their next platform. They continue to come out with new products and new models and new, but they can't make money on what they're already producing.
Yeah, they're losing money, Brendo. I think we're to the tune of almost $80,000 a car or something like that for the most expensive model for the Lucid Air. Tough look there. I know they're losing about $30,000 a car on Rivian, so it's a bit of a tougher look. But with respect to their headlines today, Lucid announcing the production of the Gravity will begin in late 2024. That is their first foray into the SUV line. I'm very excited to see what that looks like. They're also expanding their services across Europe, Brendo, so they're really trying to push the brand there. With respect to Rivian, several comments from analysts. JP Morgan downgrading, UBS as well as Truist all downgrading the stock with various price targets. So they reported last week, and it was a real dump fest.
Yeah, I saw another one of the R1S, the SUVs, on University.
Oh yeah,
right down here on University on the weekend. It's a really nice vehicle. It's too bad they can't make that work somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately a few things.
Hopefully they will.
You do have to make money on them, but the other thing you have to think about is the demand coming back in, and demand, it's just not there right now. So it's about playing out the string as long as they can. We talked a lot about this on the earnings. I always look to see, can you hold levels after earnings? Like, what is the market telling you after earnings? In Lucid's case, it's telling you double bottom at 290. That's already happened. So this is what I was looking for Rivian to do, hold some kind of a low after the negative push, and then bounce off of that. So bounce twice off 290. Now it's going to look to put in a higher low today, maybe at the $3 level. Maybe you could break out a 320. So that's Lucid for you. And I'm looking relief rallies in both of these cases. Rivian, the $10 level, it's that simple. It held 10 on Friday. It's above 10 right now. If it can hold on to 10, I think it's got at least a 50-cent rally off that level, if not a buck. But it has to hold 10 at the open. Like, Lucid has done so. Lucid has found a bottom when you look at the last on Thursday and Friday. Rivian has continued to make fresh lows each day. So can it put in that 10 bottom again today? I'll take another shot at it. It worked going 11 to 1150 worked on Thursday, but then on Friday I didn't get the bounce when it did bounce off 10.10, I wasn't there. So we'll see again today. I am still looking for that one bounce play off $10 this morning.
Marissa's just messaging me about more hockey times. Next week in Scarborough, my daughter has to be there for 5:15. It's in the afternoon, which is fine. I'll drive.
I was about to say, I'm like 5.
I'll drive. 5:15, she does local stuff, AM, but not driving to Scarborough.
Not to Scarborough.
Which is only like 30 minutes, but still.
At that time.
Yeah, at that time it's fine. Okay, Lucid and Rivian. So look, I mean, I don't know. You guys know we bought a little bit at 11.50, and I'm buying no more. I just want to wait to see. We have March 7th, or I still said I would figure out what date that was, where we were getting the new R2 or whatever the new model.
Yeah,
form factor is supposed to be the 7th. Okay, good. So that's what we're waiting for. It still has a 15% short float on Rivian, but you know what? I wrote it down here on the sticky note today, and I thought just a break of 10 is something that you'd want to take, and then just smash it like with a lot of shares, and then if it breaks back above, you just get out for the 5, 6, 7 cent loss, and you just say that's enough. Like when we hit that 12.50 short that day, and I mean, you guys probably remember it. I don't know. I'm not never gonna forget it. But right into here in the pre-market, it just tanked that whole day. So that was earnings day. It hit 12.50 and absolutely plummeted to the downside, or maybe it was the day after. But anyways, once it broke that 12.50, it was gone right into all-time lows, and now we've breached all-time lows, and now you're into $10. I can say the long off 10. I mean, you could just play either way. It's the same trade, in my opinion. You go long 10, you get out when it breaks. Or you play the momentum, and this is what Michael Noss was talking about, sometimes getting trapped in these short plays. It breaks through 10, you smash it, and then they rip it back up. So that's where I'm saying, and I wrote it down on the sticky note as well. I kind of guided the trade, saying that if and when we smash through 10, if it does halt, and not halt, but stop the move, and then go back up to the upside, I think you take a 5 cent hit, a 10 cent hit, whatever your risk management is. Because I would not hold this name, because it could easily hit 10, then go to 11, honestly. So I'm going to stay away from that kind of a play on Rivian. But a smash through 10, see if you get 9.90, see if you get 9.85, see if you can get 5 to 10 to 15 cents. I feel like that's a safe risk to reward on a 1-to-1 trade there. Smash Rivian. I haven't looked at Lucid in months as a trade, so I'm going to stick with probably Tesla and Rivian today.
Making you live for, life extending type thing. We were just talking about this Lunar, the Lunar lander. Did you hear it also tipped over?
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah.
but apparently everything's still working, and they're still going to be able to do everything they want to do with it. But back to the downside in a big way here today. This thing was wild to end the week last week, 21%, back to 750 here this morning. So there's that, still very, very volatile. This ASTI up on a new contract as well with NASA. They build solar panels.
Yeah, I love all these space headlines, Brendo. But yeah, with respect to Lunar, guys, watching this trade in the aftermarket last week after 8 o'clock on Blue Ocean while this thing was landing was intense. I've never seen anything do so much volume after 8 o'clock. With respect to the actual headlines, though, they landed this spacecraft on the south pole of the moon specifically because they believe there's water there. So they were hoping to kind of be able to secure that water source for a possible moon landing mission with humans in the future. And Brendo and I were just joking off camera saying, what if there's a virus or a bacteria in the water that like ends all of humanity?
Fine, don't
yeah. Yeah, we'll see how they do.
I was mentioning the simple fact that maybe it's the other direction, that it's like it'll just make you live forever or some crazy thing. But yeah, 750 here for LUNR this morning seems like a thing.
Go all nerd on you in this. You need to be alive. You're not going to find any viruses on the moon. You got to go to the where you want to go is like go to the moons in around Jupiter, because one of their moons actually has ice, and there could be something alive down there. You go down there into Europa and you might find something, but you might find an SSR bounce in Lunar today, down that 21%. When I looked at the chart this morning, I was like, hey, if it gets down to $5, that's kind of an obvious sort of level in there, but it decided to bounce off 6 instead. So if it gets to that $6 level, I think it could be worth a shot. It's down 21 points, so that means it is going to be a short sell restricted name. I just look for SSR bounces in this case. If there's a fade to be had here, I think I would have to wait it out to get to close to $10 or something like that. So, you know, Rivian gives you the $10 level. That'll be SSR as well. This will give you the $6 level. I wasn't really paying as much attention to ASTI as Lunar off of the even, but I always try to keep things simple when you have stocks that are near that dollar level. Once you get above 80 cents and start failing around 90, it's just about the buck. Can it break the dollar level? And if it can break above $1, I'm looking longs over $1 on these names. That's how I'm always doing it. If it breaks the buck, I look for longs in the 1 to 105 range, relatively tight stops, 97, 98s, things of that nature. And if it holds that, maybe it breaks out a top, you look at things like 110. So that has to get above $1 and it's at 84 cents. Not going to be terribly interested in that. I did want to, we have 1 minute to go here. I didn't see anything that was gigantic on the imbalances early on. Pre-market block is a 500,000 sell. That's probably the only one anyone cares about. NEO is a very small buy as well. So not a heck of a lot going on the imbalances. But block has the 78 level, which has broken. It was support after the earnings gap up. 78 level was a key one. I was looking to see if it could hold this at the open, and it's actually breaking down off 78 already here on block.
All right, 30 seconds. Just noticing AMD, they're all starting to go a little bit here as the market's trying to go into the open. I'm going to watch AMD at 178, hold it to 177, take an early shot at AMD if we do come down into 178 again. And then we'll watch NVIDIA through 805. We've talked a little bit about that, but here we go, man, with only 10 seconds left. Let's get this party started. It should be a good one. Thank you for joining us. Now, with only 5, kick it off, Adair. We're going to have a good one here to start the day. All right, let's go. We're now open. So here we go. AMD, we're looking for a little bit of a dip buy opportunity in this name if it does come through. Obviously, it's a NASDAQ name, so the market is now open. You're rocking with Trader TV Live. Thank you so much for doing that, and let's have some fun here. Amazon coming back into our 175 level. We'll buy a little bit down here. We were waiting a little bit earlier underneath this. We were waiting at 175.11 to get a bigger order on for Amazon, but we'll take a small trade right now to start the day. Long Amazon early here.
Oh, just missed. I mean, Intel came up to about 43.5 very, very quickly and then dipped down in. But a Micron in that 90 level, it just broke. I did not get the, wow, okay. Didn't cross enough on Micron, apparently. We talked about this. Sometimes you got to cross a little bit further on your breakout orders, but Micron just took the 90 level again and went straight to 90.75. So that is absolutely flying. I'll try to get picked up on the way back in here, as this is an absolute rocket ship right now.
All right, cool, man. We got big trade alert happening on Amazon. We just talked about buying that 175. It's nice, and it's working, and it's great. So we'll see if that keeps going to the upside right now. It's a 50-cent winner right there, so we'll go floss it off a little bit here to start. 50 cents, 70 cents, going $1 now in the money. There it is. It's your first Dollar Club member, and it is Amazon, and it is exactly as it was written right here on the sticky note, a long of 175 right there. That's your moment to shine, Amazon. Congratulations as you continue to go to the upside. There's your first Dollar Club winner. We're going to go 1 for 1 here. Let's just keep that party going. And then look what's happening as well. It's the Nvidia party. It's up to 802. Let's go, Amazon, man. This is a big one. Daily goal met already, to be honest with you, but we're going to go higher and higher and higher. We're still waiting for Nvidia to break through 805. Looks like she wants to do it pretty soon.
It's at 804 right now. I just got Micron a couple times here. It broke that 91, took the breakout, but if the break doesn't work, not going to hang on to it when it doesn't. Got back in at 90. If you had the 90 break, it was about the fastest dollar that you could see. So big mover. I am short Intel. It's not intentionally a hedge. Wait a minute. Position board's not working. Yeah, the position board's not working, guys. Sorry.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I just realized it's not working. Micron just came back and failed the 90. The initial break obviously is going to end up being good, but I'll slap the fail on Micron for not having the initial break that gave you the dollar. I am now short on Intel. Going to start getting some out here in those 30s as that name kind of remains on the you-know-what list, the short list. Oh, one more thing for you. Rivian is at 10.06. So looking like it's going to go into that test of the $10 level.
All right, so we could fail out here. We did get a piece out for $1.30 at that high. Am I still on NVIDIA? Good. On NVIDIA, but we are starting to come back in a little bit. We're not going to let this thing break 800. So there's our out right there immediate. Like it's just black. We actually got a good fill on that 805 break, man. We got 805.20s right there, and then we actually got a piece out. I'll tell you the exact price we got. 806.13. So that was another dollar there. But we are long also right now into AMD. So let's see if this name wants to start climbing as well. We're gonna give this one to 177.50. I got to get that stop order going right now. Was that a call for Adara?
It was.
All right, what's up?
Yeah, Zyversa Therapeutics, ZVSA. This one got going late on Friday, getting going today as well. Now halted, up almost 130% though. Thursday morning, this one publishing a paper about some neurological diseases, a white paper on that. But also worth noting here, the main story may be the float. We have a float of about 1.58 million shares. About almost 12% of that is going to be short float. So pretty significant short float and very low float here for ZVSA, guys.
Man, this is so violent. This is wild. Okay, so like we just got some more longs down there at 801 and then got them out at 803.50. So it looks like we're going to break lower here as these names start to go. We took a shot here early. There goes Nvidia. Looks like it does want to break. I mean, I don't know. Should we just, it just went up $1 again there. I'm debating just like trying to get a little, okay, we'll take a little bit out here at 802.50 just because like, you know, I need to, as we're starting to watch out for this one. Let's see now where we go from here on Nvidia. Wow, this is a smoke show of a day. One more time here if we can hold these levels. Jeez, man, there it is again. Let's go again, man. If you guys are rocking over here, this has been a good day. I don't know. Okay, now the position board's working. I was gonna say, I wasn't sure
working now.
I wasn't sure what Neil was in there. Okay, so we've got $1. Amazon was really hot fire, but Amazon's falling back in. We emptied a lot of our clip out there at those highs of 176. I mean, there's multiple outs down here, so let's watch out for that. AMD's 50 cents in the money, and AMD and Nvidia has been fine. It's just been up and down. Like, it looks like it wants to break that 800. We're going to have to wait for this one. But AMD has been the much better play, to be honest with you. Safely down here at 178, but this could go. Nvidia, we're out if it breaks 800 flat. So here we go. This probably happens very soon. It looks pretty weak right now, but the market also fading. So let's see if we can hold some of these levels. So far, so good, but slippery slope for sure.
Yeah, I just scalped some Micron on the re-entry back, the re-entry at 90 at 90.40, but Intel's starting to stair-step it a little bit here. I mean, the market just wicked the top, but held 18.8. So if we hold 18,000. If we hold 18,000, suddenly things look a little bit strong. So I got to watch out for this Intel position. You are getting decent bounces in some other names. Just want to quickly go over to Meta. Meta 486. It feels like that level's been pretty key. It just wicked the bottom, is trying to get back into the upside. Do not want to ignore them. And the other thing we've ignored is Tesla, but I got to get back on over to Intel. It's making a run at this high. Just going to have to jump out. The last few days, it's been able to hold this 55 level. If it doesn't hold on, just going to have to jump out of this. The market is looking awfully strong. Only long on Micron right now, looking for something to pick up. Probably going to try to find myself into some Meta at some point. We are looking at that Rivian. We did miss the bounce play because it got to 10.05. I mean, I'm on the bid here the second time through at 05s. After it made the bounce, did not get it. You're seeing it already at like 10.25. So this is absolutely flying. Without me, now you want to go, Rivian. When I'm not on you, you want to go. I got to cancel some of these bids. If it comes back down, 10? Yeah, if it comes back down, I have to play it by ear. But we might have missed that $10 bounce already.
Oh, boo. Okay,
NEO's also flying, by the way.
I wasn't even looking over there. All right, there goes Nvidia does break down. We do have AMD here for that long still, which has been good. And we're also in Amazon long, but Nvidia definitely slap a fail as it takes 8 builds there. Adara?
Yeah, Microcloud Hologram, HOLO, this one running again. Pretty small float in this name as well. It's about 1.5 million shares. But also worth noting, they did actually regain, or they received a letter saying that they regained compliance with NASDAQ's closing bid rule after market close on Friday. That could be what's moving it right now. Overall, though, this one has been pretty strong over the last couple of weeks. HOLO, guys.
Holo.
ARM. ARM is at 150 almost here.
What's
so
in
that
the act?
That's a big one, man. AMD.
Remember when Brendan said never sell anything? Yeah, about that.
Yeah. As long as you sold Nvidia at 820, but other than that, I
mean,
think
come on,
everything else. AMD 70 cents, ARM right here 148, 150. Looks like it wants to take that down, man, pretty nicely as well.
That is
Nvidia still trying to hold. We could still try that.
I got a quick
update.
update.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I covered the 90 in front of 91 and then punched long 91 on Micron. I've been playing those two levels multiple times. Initial fail break at 91 didn't work. The dip buy didn't work. But then on the way back up, breaking 90, got it to 91, and I'm now long 91. So I've been playing those two levels on Micron. These are 52-week highs, so that's it. Yeah, clear skies ahead for Micron. But ARM is the thing that's sort of boggling my mind now. I'm not going to pretend that the stock has to make sense until the 12th. But 150? Really? Like it seems almost too easy to pull up the daily. It's like, okay, the 150 level should be the spot people are looking for a bit of a curl. But I know what happens if you get in on the front end of this. Let's look for some selling first and then try to join it. That's a ridiculous move on ARM. It's a pure squeeze play. Pure squeeze.
We tried Nvidia again there off 798 and it failed again. So now we'll stop and we'll wait on that. I was looking at an ARM short, but I know you guys are talking about that. It's just like, is that something? I'm
150.
I really like Amazon or Nvidia as a long though, but AMD's starting to break down. Maybe these things are just getting a little bit way too heated now, as ARM is starting to head back in just a little bit. But you might have missed the short. We'll try it here at 147. What was that very high there? 149.30. So there is an opportunity here to get a few more shares into the short for ARM. So we'll try it and see if it works out. But Nvidia's falling back in. AMD's been a big trade. I mean, if we're going to go short, maybe we should just dump out all of our tech names here and just not worry about them. But AMD, we'll get some out as it's bouncing around here, 177.50. That was going to be our out. So we can hold against that level. Amazon still doing its thing here, still trying to work. Its low wick there was 174 and change. We should have looked at that again, but we were too busy losing on Nvidia, breaking above 800, then hovering around. So took it for a little bit there, but then at the end of the day, it winds up breaking, and we got out on that 78 break there. So we had to be very, very careful with that. But there goes Nvidia to the downside, trying to hold some of these levels though right now.
So I am back into Intel. It wicked me out. It's going to happen sometimes. You'll make the top. It's not necessarily the top wick, but it'll wick me out. That was a pre-market move back in here. So this was that top I was looking at. Once I got out, right back underneath. The market is relatively strong. I am holding on to Micron, that 91, but right back into some Intel to the south side. Square is accelerating to the downside. If Nvidia is going down like this, I actually liked AMD if it could have gotten up to 181, and it's not getting there. So Intel's the only thing I'm short, and ARM, like you've got to, okay, maybe it's gone now. Yeah, never mind, you forget about it. ARM just failed down to 145. You can't really play off the 150 at this level. I want to see it pop maybe a little bit more, and then we can try to dig into it again. Micron, the 91 just came out, so I had a 91 break, I had a 90 break, I had dip buys as well. It just stalled out at 91.5 a couple of times there. So Micron, I still want to look for the stair step, but this needs to calm itself down. The way these chip names are going, I think you got to take a step back, let them matriculate a little bit. Like I just got jiggled out of Intel on the short, and then it's right back retesting these quarters. So I'm going to jump on the bid in front of that. I did see Mara flying, by the way, Barry. And yeah, this is a simple case of it's already up 8%. I did like the long today, but I actually like the long off of support at 23. Now you're just flat out breaking out the 25 level. So I'd be looking at the resistance turning into support. That's the setup I like if I miss a breakout trade. It's got to pull back to get me involved. Adara?
Yeah, really good look here for Salesforce CRM heading into its earnings after market close on Wednesday. Citigroup, one of the companies raising its price target for Salesforce ahead of those earnings. So good look here, up 2%, making new 52-week highs, guys.
Salesforce action there.
No earnings this week.
Yeah, lots of good earnings this week coming actually. Lowe's is coming up after Home Depot's report last last week. But anyways, there goes AMD. It's a good thing we got out of these names, man, honestly. Like AMD and Nvidia, still positive on AMD, not on Nvidia, as that went all the way down. We tried to hold this 800 level, fail there for sure. ARM's been pretty good. ARM is now $2 in the money. We're going to wait for that one as we sort of talked about why we like that. We're going to see if ARM does anything at all at these levels. I'm bidding 144. Try to get out in front of VWAP and then see if it wants to continue its downside push after that. So we'll bid 144 here on ARM, see if we can get out of that name. Amazon's still working out pretty good, as we just got another piece out there. Again, great trading of Amazon. It is our #1 sticky note name here. While we had Nvidia long 805. We talked about that one. And then we have Amazon here at 175 working out. Okay, ARM just tried to break 145 again and failed. So this is one of those situations where I'm feeling like I'm being pretty patient with this trade. There it comes. All right, so I was going to say, but are we really breaking down below? Here we go. We'll take $3.
Just broke.
Yeah, I'm watching it now. I'm in it. So we're $3 short here on ARM. We're waiting for a bid right here, right now at 144.16, believe it or not. And I think it just went to 144.22s. So that sucks. Hopefully it'll come down and fill us up there. We'll make back a little bit from that Nvidia loss. So there goes ARM. Nicely done back into the downside here. Wow, what a name today. ARM's been crazy.
I just took the break.
Up 11% there. Anyways, that sucks. We just missed that fill by like 5 cents, but hopefully it'll come back in for us.
Wow, Google's at $140 already.
Wow, yeah, that name's
which is well. I actually I took the break on ARM and did not get out when it tagged 44.12. Although I was looking at the level too. I'm not sure it really got down there. But
no, I'm bidding 44.16.
Yeah, I was gonna say it didn't go that far. If it had gone that far, if it had gone that far, I would have been on. I would have gotten it out. But I still only want to be short this name at these prices, so I'll let it get back up. I like the breakdown. I think he can get through VWAP. Just the weakness that I'm seeing. I mean, we're about to break 18,000, and the only thing I'm short is Intel. It's like the only position that's still in. It feels like that's the same thing every single morning. Intel is the one. But Google's going to get to 140 in about 5 minutes or so. It's falling like an absolute rock. We did like this one to the south side, but we liked it if it could have popped into 144. So I'm going to go back, play the patience game. Whoops, I went to Affirm instead of ARM. Play the patience game because I believe that this is going to retest a lower high. So we tried the breakdown at 145. It didn't work. I'm going to jump into this off this 148 area, the lower high that ARM put in.
Right. Yeah. See, you see what I mean about missing a level by 6 cents, and then all of a sudden now it goes up $2. So like you got to have your bids and offers out there, like Neil and I did. It just got missed out there. So we'll wait to see what happens now with ARM. All right. So by the way, Nvidia is.
Where's Nvidia?
I don't want to say the word tanking, but it's down to 790.
It's tanking.
So that.
I'll say it. It's tanking.
It's still positive on the day. It's not. Is this a tank? I mean,
down
it's
$20. What was the move after?
Yeah. Well, it's down. It's not down that much, man. I mean, did it just touch 86 there? Yeah. So okay. We'll see here what's happening with Nvidia. But look, bouncing around. We talked about 780. Looks like it might have just touched 786 there. It could have just been a flush and like a market out there. All right, we're short ARM again at 147. We'll take something out at 145 if we're lucky enough to actually get a fill in this thing. Adara?
Another pre-earnings mover here today. Virgin Galactic is going to report after close tomorrow, Tuesday. Right now, though, SPCE up about 4%. Worth noting that this one does have a short float of about 20% here, but this one also, like CRM, getting a move before its earnings this week, guys.
Finally, the first shot at ARM was no good for me because I took a breakdown trade, which when a stock is up 9%, maybe you should look to short pops. Anyways, I got in off the lower high there. I think you got to be looking shorts under 18,000, and this is high flying. It's too far up, in my opinion. Okay, maybe Nvidia is not tanking, but there's one green candle at the open for the breakout, and then it's just fading underneath. If it can't hold on to the previous close, which is the 88 level, I think it could go flush city. But a pop back into VWAP could give you an 800 short. So I'll be watching that one pretty closely. Intel is now bouncing off the 43 level, so if it cannot break 490, I'm jumping out off this one. So I'm trailing Intel to 43 even. 490 was the afternoon bottom on this bad boy.
Yes. Bang! That's it right now. See ya, ARM. This is exactly what we're all about over here. Let's go. A couple bangers right there on a significant reload on the upside right there for ARM. Wow. Again, man, AMD pretty monstrous there. Amazon, like I was saying, the #1 stock here, Amazon today. I might as well just get out because we're starting to go lower. Let's just get out of Amazon. There it is. We'll sign and seal that. Actually, now ARM's going to be #1, but let's see how far ARM can get into that one. It's too bad that we absolutely shit the bed on this one, or went down on this one here on Nvidia. Nice downside move. Please send complaints.
That was a
Please
theme
send,
in the podcast.
what was?
No, well, shit.
Oh,
No,
yeah, I think we said it twice because we're allowed to
What was
actually
the phrase?
say
It was a very specific phrase.
Yeah, I don't know, but we're not. Yeah, we're not going to use that
No, it's fine,
here. But
whatever.
we'll use it with ARM, and hopefully it does come back into the downside right there and break that 144 area. So we'll see if it goes down. It's 250 in the money. It's a good one right there. Yeah, no, my positions are accurate now. So whatever it shows on there, I don't know what it shows
right.
on the board over there. I'm not paying attention to that. But for right now, ARM is a short, and it's a doozy, and it's coming in hopefully even lower than where we are right now. ARM short.
Yeah, for anyone that's looking, I'm actually just checking out the dashboard myself in a second, but the position board has been working. I want to get back over to the Chinese EV names if I can. I know a lot of people were looking at Li Auto. NIO is flying to the upside. I'm thinking VWAP bounces, and if there's going to be strength, it's going to have to be something that's not going to follow what the NASDAQ is doing right now, because under 18,000, I don't want any of that junk. So I'm going to be looking at NIO, maybe pulling back into a 550 or a 560, going to go dip buying. I'm ringing the register on ARM. Sharif just yelled short that garbage, and I'm assuming he's talking about NIO. NIO's strong today. I'm not shorting that stock today. I'm looking for longs. But there was just this bounce off VWAP on ARM. So I'm out at 145. I'll take my $2 and sort of run there. I wanted to play it into that previous high, so we did. I'll probably short that top if we get it again. Let's go to Adara.
Yeah, a couple notes on some of these mega cap tech stocks. Some news coming out. Stock's not super reactive, but worth noting here. Amazon on watch after the ahead of AWS Mexico's unit saying that their AWS is looking to invest more than $5 billion in Mexico for some clusters of data centers. Also, Google on watch here as the DeepMind CEO says that Google looks to have the AI image generator that was paused. It looks to have it back within the next couple of weeks. So no details on that, but GOOGL also on watch with regards to that news, guys.
Google. So our Alibaba, by the way, is really flying right now up to 70. I mean, we are bidding 75.11s. We talked about that. It goes to 75.33. Should have noticed it. Again, a 1 minute chart. Hard to catch some of those bottoms as we were dealing with Nvidia. We talked a little bit about that one. I wish we were not. But yeah, Bob, a nice little dip buy opportunity there into 75. Now it continues to go higher. So I don't know if we want to be a breaker of this. I think it's going to be pretty risky to do that. The NASDAQ is still hovering around that 18,000 though, so maybe a nice little break here of 76 and change, and we'll get going on Alibaba. It's already nice. We're going to still hold out for ARM, see if it gets down a little bit more, reload this name at 147 and change. If we're lucky enough to get that, we'll wait for it, but hopefully it comes down to the downside. No more bids for me at all until like maybe 140 here on ARM. Let's see if it gets down into that level. So yeah, so far so good, man. We really like that pan W. You guys asked me, I told you, wow. I told you guys right there on open on earnings day that we were buying the opening print or whatever it was. I think it was, like I said, 273, 274 down there, then more at 260. This is a nice winner right here for us as well. $3 in the money on ARM. I think it goes a lot lower. Let's see how far ARM goes to the downside, and we'll think about taking Alibaba long, but not if this market's under VWAP.
Yeah, the market's continuing to flush in. I said I would get out of Intel if it broke, if it held that low from the higher low from Friday. It did, so I jumped out of it. We got 43.40 down into 43, so we'll take the point and run. But if it just consolidates underneath here, I probably just jump into it again. I'm offering VWAP because that's where I'd like to be able to take this. If we can see VWAP, I think we got a decent chance to short this again. NIO is strong. The Chinese ADRs are strong. These are the places that I want to look for some longs on any kind of a dip. Everything else, I mean, pretty much everything else is looking very weak. And if you're looking at Google, we talked about how weak this was. It broke the 140 level. Not falling apart underneath there. But if this doesn't start hanging on, I might look for a short under this. I like the stair step, which to me is VWAP or the 141, but underneath 140 is not looking very good either here. Google absolutely bleeding to the downside. I've covered the 2 shorts that I was in. I'm just looking for some re-entry points here, and I'm going to add Google Alphabet to the list of names I'm looking to short pops on.
Yeah, damn you, Google. I keep talking about that being one of my top holdings there. So by the way, this name kept going, so we'll have to wait for it now. And of course, the name I'm talking about here is ARM. It did get into those levels, man. It broke 143 and went to 142.50. So this is a pretty slippery one. I can't blame anybody for wanting to sit in there and take some profit on ARM. Yeah, you're right, Boring Man. I mean, I really like that PanW. I just kind of glanced over it because I was so happy with the buy. But yeah. I mean, taking 298, there's some sort of a deal with Nvidia today as well. I mean, it's a nice move to the upside here for Palo Alto. And again, like this is why raise capital. I mean, we talk about that a little bit, and it's to buy, you know, get opportunities so you have some powder so that when something happens like this, you're able to take advantage of it. And, you know, it could have gone the other way. It still could. Tesla right there, 198. Nice move trying to get back over 2 bills again. Failed top break of 198. So that could definitely be a level there to look at for either a break long if we hold some of these levels or to fade that short. So I think it's just giving it to you, right? So it's giving you the trade now. Either you play the short off of that. There's the high wick with volume. So kind of looking like a doji star there, a little bit thick for that, but, you know, nice move back in right now coming into this 195.50. That's VWAP. Good bounce spot as Tesla's up 2.5%. Remember, we're still looking at the market trying to figure out a way. We have unlimited bullets to fire pretty much every day. So let's just wait on all of this. Like there's the NASDAQ trying to get 18,000. So it's just bouncing around right now. Let's make sure that we get the direction right, and everything else will fall into place after that. So right now we're just dancing around a little bit. I'm still thinking long. We wrote down Nvidia 780. It looks like the bottom's going to be 785. Now bounced up $7 or $8 from there. So that's another story that still needs to play out,
Google's
right?
starting to bounce. Come here.
Google is? Okay.
Just come here for a second. I said if we hung out and there were sellers under 140, I'd take a shot at that level, but tight stops unless we're getting to VWAP. So tight stop on this one, thinking that if we bounce off 140 and I want to be shorting this, I got to wait till 75, maybe the 141 even, something along those lines. So I might take some pot shots at this. Down 2.5%, I'm kind of thinking the other way. Intel cannot seem to break 43. I'd love to jump back into this at VWAP, but it might just be down here at the 43 level that I got to take it. And NEO doesn't want to let me in. Let the right one in. And that's me into NEO, hopefully. I wanted VWAP here. Look at it hug VWAP early. I just feel like if it gets back down, it's an easy one to go for the VWAP bounce. But if it never plays into this level, I might have to sort of stick the neck out in the 60s and get in a little bit. You're only talking about 13 pennies from top to VWAP here. So it could be pretty reasonable to jump into this one a little bit early. Chinese ADR is absolutely flying, led by, well, sorry, I don't know if it's led by, I'm assuming they're probably the highest percent gainer. I don't know for sure. Li Auto that reported, they're up 15%.
Li Auto.
Dragging NEO up with it. Maybe short those at your own will. But I actually see NEO as trending a little bit better than Li Auto right now. ARM, I do want a re-entry, but I'm going to try and be patient about this. It's bouncing again off of VWAP here. I don't think it's yet put in a higher low. Looking for that one big spike to short into on ARM. And Intel, it might just have to be 43. It just does not seem to want to break out this 43 level.
And Google's still breaking here through 140. So there it goes through 140. We really need ARM to do something here if this is going to work out, because we're only in ARM right now. So I know it's been, you guys, I know it's been a little bit of a rough morning over here as Neil and I try to figure out which stocks to trade. So I still like this Google. Again, I'm still trying to wait, man. We have new homes like Neil just mentioned. I think that's pretty important to come through. Let's check out Rivian again just to see if anything's happening on Rivian. So there's the bounce off 10. We actually highlighted this trade a couple times, and hopefully you took the first time, and that was getting long in front of 10 if you liked it. It's the exact same trade. Long in front of 10, get out if it breaks, short 10 if it breaks. So I didn't like the long down there today on Rivian, but if you guys did, that was a good one there for sure on Rivian. So we'll pay attention to that. Oh, Palantir. Let me go over a look at that. We didn't look at Palantir yet today. So I wrote down the bottom of 2250. Obviously, we weren't getting down to 2250, but we got to 2290. We started the day at 23 there, and actually Palantir well up here against a market that looks like it now wants to fail. So we have Snowflake earnings later this week, so that could be something coming through. But for right now, Palantir making a nice move, up 2%. This, again, we'll probably have to wait for a VWAP pullback, but 2350 just held, and now we start to go back down south side here on Palantir. So there's VWAP. It's actually not too far away at all. 2330 right now. We've already tested it and held once. So an interesting level here for Palantir coming up at VWAP 2350. So yeah, it looks like Google doesn't want to hold, man. This one...
it looks weak, man.
Yeah, well, actually, I guess it did hold. Sorry, I thought it broke again, but it didn't. I really like Alibaba, man. Someone just mentioned there, what's up to cash out there about Alibaba? Lucid's holding as well.
Cash me outside.
Cash, yeah, don't cash any Lucids outside. I don't see too many of those, actually.
Lucid actually looking decent here.
Okay, good, yeah.
So, look, I'm not going to jump into Google just yet, but it is looking weak at this bottom. It got to 140.25 after that hold of 140. I mean, very brief hold of 140, but Lucid making a higher low. Look, the market's weak. We're under 18,000. It looks like we're trending back into the downside. The NASDAQ is red. So when the big cap tech names and the chip names, I'm looking for short entries. But I think some of these relief rally squeeze plays can be the opportunities for the long. So Lucid looking good on a higher low. I just decided I want to wet the beak on NEO. So I am on the bid now, just looking for some 71s. I still like a VWAP dip buy, but just to get picked up here. NEO's the kind of name that can go 10%. I mean, if Li Auto's going 15, NEO can go and follow along for 10 because it's been so badly beaten up. Rivian's making a bounce play as well, but I'm into NEO. I want to play the long into VWAP here, give it to that 560 level, and then just see how far it can go. Not jumping into Google yet. Going to give it a little bit more time to sell itself in. Make a consolidation range. If it holds under 140, I'd probably just short under 140 again, though.
We keep just watching ARM bouncing. So yeah, that Google, I just put an offer up higher. I thought that we could get a run a little bit there off 140. We do have new home sales coming out right now. Do we want to go to Adara? All right, let's go. When you guys are ready, we'll go to Adara and get this number coming out. And on that note, we are ready. What's up?
Just getting these new home sale numbers coming in. Just arrived here. New home sales at 0.661 million, so slightly below the consensus of 0.68 million. New home sales month over month coming in here at 1.5%. So much lower than the previous of 7.2% here for new home sales. 10:30, we get Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index. In terms of the SPY itself, slightly positive here in the day. It's been pretty flat throughout the pre-market. Definitely a little bit of a pause after the major rallies we had on Thursday and Friday, propelled by those Nvidia earnings. But there are certainly lots of stocks to talk about that are moving today, including Li Auto. This went up over 15% after posting really strong earnings, 185% year-over-year growth in terms of Q4 deliveries, huge revenue growth as well, though they did project revenue a little bit lower coming into the next quarter for LI. Another EV name here on watch, Lucid, LCID. Despite getting some price target decreases off of earnings, they did unveil some new EVs and also talked about some plans for expansion into Europe. So good look for this one as well, guys.
Well, that was a bit of a tank. Like I was just on the offer in front of 147 for the lower high on ARM and it tanked $4. But the good news is at least maybe I can get into Google because Google's going the other direction off of that. So ARM tanked, but Google's pulling up, and I wanted this into VWAP, so I think this is going to be the chance to get it. So I'm going to wet the beak in the 60s and 70s here. I just want to get picked up. It's weird that you'd see like the tank and the chips there just now, and then Google's going to try to find a way to be bouncing. So I'm on the offer. I wanted this back into VWAP. We'll see what happens. Nvidia is, if you're watching the other chips, Nvidia is just holding underneath VWAP, looking pretty decent down there, holding under VWAP. Intel, I jumped in at that 43 level. I'm chuckling because Sharif is like, hold up. Hey. He's always singing around us. It's ridiculous. So Intel holding around 43. I tried it a couple times down here. Don't like what I'm seeing. I should wait for VWAP. The initial short got stopped, and then we got the big one from 43.4 down into 42.8. But we are still 1 for 3 on Intel, which is a little bit disappointing. So going to wait for VWAP, let things calm down a bit. I'm now only in NIO, although I am on the offer of Google looking for the play into VWAP. So NEO bought that dip into 71s, thinking maybe we could leg into this off of VWAP. NEO decided we're not going to VWAP. It's fine.
No.
Maybe we're just going to $6. $6 is an obvious key level. $6.50, a bigger one if you look at the chart, but I like that even dollar every single time on a stock like an NIO.
All right, it's funny you're talking about Chinese names. We'll start a new position right now with Alibaba. There it is, okay. New position alert, just here at 76. We'll try it. We won't try it for too long, man. That 200 period's down here at 95. We'll see if we can buy this dip on Alibaba. I mean, we're going to be here to try it. We did take a big time advantage of that, man. That ARM, we'll talk about this. Amazon #1, ARM #2 for me here, and then AMD. We have one red stock today. It's going to be Nvidia, and I know we've been talking about that one, so we'll see. And we tried to get ARM short more when it ripped up there. We missed it as well. So, okay, here comes Alibaba coming in. We'll try it again. I'm pretty happy with the position that we have right now. We will try to get a little bit more down in at, what is this level, 95? Yeah, so like 95, 96 there, and then we'll see. We'll see if it can hold. If it breaks below 90, I believe is where my out was. So a little bit of a hold here trying to happen for Alibaba and me, and hopefully that does happen there. Alibaba and me, yeah. Right there. So we'll see if it can hold it out. But right now, man, it's been a nice morning besides NVIDIA, where we've had ARM success and Amazon success. So far, so good there. We're still waiting for NVIDIA to get to some of those levels. And like right now, it's just this. So we took the hits early on this name, obviously, as you can see, breaking through the 50 period there. And then, so that's what happened early. Couple wins, then late on the punch, not late on the punch out, but breaking through 800 and then giving it to that 798. So quick dub hits right there. And look at this, man. We're going to go 4 for 5 right now. Let's hope. Let's go. Wow, this is okay. What's up, DJ? There he is. And
another one.
And
another one.
all right, so there it is, man. That's AMD's one, Amazon's another, ARM's another one, Alibaba, that's 4. 4 wins, 5 out of 5. It's a NVIDIA, that's a bad one for me today. But we'll have another one there with Alibaba. I hope you guys took that as there we go, man. Sticky note, again, is pretty good. NVIDIA long 805 was the misstep today.
Where is it? NVIDIA is actually bouncing into VWAP. I am now in Google. I'm fading that one into VWAP. NVIDIA is looking like it's going to be the same thing as well. So the only new position for me is jumping into Alphabet here. I want this to curl. It's trend down, so when we're trending down, I'm looking for that curl to the downside. If we hold 18, if we break 18 even, I want to be in those EV names for sure. Let's go to Adara, but I want to get to NVIDIA on the way back in here.
This HCP, HashiCorp, up about 12 and a bit % here. Morgan Stanley upgrading this one and raising the price target to $30. So nice look here for HCP, guys.
So just perfect timing, because here incoming is VWAP on NVIDIA. It's the 795 area. If it makes any kind of a bounce and curl off of this, I'd be looking to fade it if it's going to take those stairs down. So look for the curl. Like, I'm not going to jump out in front of this. I want to see it get up there, maybe hang for a second or two, and then jump back in. Alphabet is working back to the downside. It's got a 140. I wanted more shares if it could have gotten up to VWAP, but as you can see here, Alphabet's incredibly weak. You're down 2.7% in Alphabet. I have a decent feeling that I'm going to want to buy some of this at lunchtime in my personal account. But for now, we're playing the trend of the short side as Alphabet continues to flush. NEO, that's 76, so that's 71 long. It's moving up. I have a 78 offer out in front of 80, and I'll get an offer in front of 90 as well on the way to $6 here. NEO and the Chinese ADR is looking pretty strong.
Yep, I know. Hey, man, I mean, we just absolutely nailed it right there and put Baba to the top of the scoreboard here today. Again, couple good ins there, off VWAP, off the 50-period moving average. Now it's starting to fade out, so I'm just telling you guys, actually, I'm not sure how many shares I'll have to look. I feel like I've sold at least 50. I mean, looking at my net, I feel like I've sold at least 50% of this, and I'm going to sell a little bit more right now as well. I don't. It's a nice move. I think we can go higher, but honestly, like, we played the dip into VWAP. too much higher. Like the high of the day is 50s. So we're at 30 here. And again, you guys know what we're talking about when we trade around here. So using more shares, trying to get bigger profit on smaller moves right now. Not on a stock like Nvidia, we still swang big, but you get hit big, which we did, right? And so that's the difference there. So we will make it back with BABA, ARM, Amazon, and AMD. But still, you know, this was one of my #1 ideas here today. So this will by far carry the day on the L side here. But here, like Neil mentioned, it is battling back right now, which is nice. We've already, man, ARM is already locked and loaded, and we've already taken that one out, man. We took this one out for dinner and made them pay. So, I mean, the ARM today was gorgeous. We're gonna wait. We'll wait for another 148 retest. I'm not getting into it, man. I don't need to do anything with that as well. Carvana, Tesla, yeah, man. Pan W. People are loving Pan W, and I am absolutely thrilled.
I want 330
with this, man. As a major core holding, not major, but a core holding in my portfolio. That dip down there was a little scary into the 200 period moving average. But again, we stand there, believe in what we're doing, just like on trading, and the results are here. So far so good here on a little Pan W. I'm hearing right now, Neil, but quickly before I throw back to you, DWAC right now is getting a little bit of a pop.
Remember, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. He's appealing. I'm just hearing in my ear right now, appealing right now the decisions in the New York court there. So anyways, a nice little pop for DWAC. It's actually not moving as much as maybe I thought.
Well, also the Koch family pulling out of funding for Nikki Haley as well. So, I mean, she's not giving up, but that's probably a positive as well. Well, it's a negative for her, but it's probably positive for DWAC.
Silly.
I'm back in at this 47 level for ARM. That's the level that worked the first time, so I'm jumping back into it. Nvidia is making the curl at VWAP, and I went to ARM instead. I don't want to be short both of them simultaneously. I feel like you pick one or the other, so for now we'll play over in ARM off that 148. So I am short there. I got one fill on NEO, and then it's pulling back. So very quickly, if you get to 46 in VWAP, I want out of ARM, taking profit. If we get the dip into VWAP now on NEO, then I'm looking to buy that dip. I already got 71s into 77s, looking for those mid-60s if we can get it. Alphabet worked the second time through, shorting the lower high. So I want to get the same thing here. Either it's up to VWAP and I short this, or it can just hold this same level at 140.5. Either way, I want to be short Google until proven otherwise. It's been a weak stock all morning long. The weakest of the well, I guess it's not the Mag 7 anymore, the Magnificent 6. Tesla, in its own bucket, I suppose.
All right, and as per podcast, guess what, Fabian? It's Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is ripping again right now here today. So you can see Bitcoin 52,000. Like, get those knives sharpened up a little bit right there as we add to our Bitcoin holdings over the weekend. We talked about that down there, 50,800 or 51,000, something like that. We do want to buy some iBit and things like that. I'm still in the Canadian ETFs because those were the only ones I bought when they first came out, the BTCC. So those are good, and we've been buying those. But there goes iBit, and we talked about this possible. I mean, again, we talked about buying Bitcoin a couple weeks back, again, on the podcast, and thank you so much. I don't know where Brendo is, but we have a record viewership on the podcast, record duration of watch hours. You guys are watching it for longer. The comments are fantastic. Thank you so much for continuously supporting that, because it's taking a lot of time and effort and doing it there for you. So thank you so much for all of that. And thank you for the kind words for some of the traders that stay back, as Friday's always like a drinking day around here. So they get to have some pops and listen to some live podcasting. All right, so that's iBit. That's I Choose You, Pikachu. And then ARM as well. We got to fill up here. I told you 148. So that's where we got to fill at 147.75. So we're not going to turn red on this name, but it is making a move back to the upside. Watch out for that high break of 150. The high of the day on ARM is 149.50. So I will take another shot on the short somewhere up there, but again, not right now. This name is very, very volatile. We've already taken it to the cleaners, like I said, but we made them pay. So I feel like now, maybe I have to pay for dessert here. But for right now, dinner's on ARM, and we'll see if it can continue. And let's go over to the desk with Adara.
Interesting story here with RCM. That's R1 RCM. This company trading high after receiving an acquisition for about $13.75 per share. Also reading from BNN and some other outlets that this company is discussing taking itself private. They also did get an outperform rating and a price target of $14 from Leerink Partners. So lots of catalysts propelling RCM to the upside, guys.
So now we have to be very, very interested in Tesla 200. So I'm in short on ARM. I still have Google. I still have NIO. Want to respect all of that. But Tesla 200 is here. It's up 4%. You know some of these EVs are absolutely flying. I haven't had a chance to see the level 2 up there. I'm going to assume there is significant size. If there's a fail break, I like it this time of day to look fail breaks, quick little scalp short. But I have more than 98 marked off. I want to buy dips into 198. That is this resistance level. So you broke that big resistance. I think I play longs back into that resistance on Tesla here. But you're at 199.86 is the current high. That 200 is incoming. I'm going to actually get it on the. I want to be on the bid here just in case there's a very quick fail. I'm going to get on the bid in front of 198. I don't want to miss it if we flash down from this $200 level. Rocket ship on Tesla, and it's like we're not even talking about it. It's just one of those days. ARM's been going crazy. Nvidia's been moving around here. Tesla, almost by the wayside. All right, so it's starting to pull back. I want 198 long. That was last week's resistance level. That's where we're going to play the bounce. I did reload Google pretty much at the same price at that 30 level, so we'll see if that can continue its trend. But it's now all about Tesla. I think the next big level to break is either that or potentially ARM through that 148.
Yeah, watch out of ARM through the 140. Yeah, let's give a big celebration, man. Leading the office today behind us, Obi. So congratulations for Obi again, man. How many times do I have to say that this guy is super hot fire? Congratulations, Obi. One more time leading the way here today. So that's a good one, man. You're welcome, Frank Jones. Hey, man, it's not me. It's our team that built that great dashboard. So shout out to Team Dashboard right there. And we're working with it, man. We're working on getting that hotter for you. And, you know, some nice little additions and whatnot to the dashboard. So get ready. I just realized right now that we had a little bit of a downside push here for Alibaba. We'll buy a little bit more, but we are still a little cautious about this 76 area. So we don't want to throw back what we've made already there. Yeah, a lot of love for Obi. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we'll buy some dips into here, but again, we've made some money on this. I don't want to be like throwing it all back, but that's why we were getting out more conservatively on the bottom. We talked a little bit about that. At the top when we were getting out. Remember, we took the 36s and 28s, and we're like, okay, how high do we really think we're going to go here? The market really, besides looking at ARM and NVIDIA, and maybe not even NVIDIA, not much is happening. Now the market wants to go to the downside, so now we have to be a little cautious, possibly about what's going on. We tried to take 18,000, and the cat came back the very next day. You did think the NASDAQ was a goner, but it's not, and it's back and back with a vengeance. One more time here today. It was a red day on Friday, only up 0.5 right now. Let's see if it holds fort. I'm still all about this Alibaba. It's my biggest position, and I think my riskiest position right now is ARM, but I only reloaded it once right now. We could have just done it a bunch and then scalped it out. That's kind of my style, as you guys know, but I feel like ARM could get back to the 50 period, bidding 145, see if we can get that fill. So far, yeah. I mean, I haven't looked at
Google's holding
my guy Patrick from Morrow over there.
Google's now holding this 140 level a second time here. Just come back here, guys. 140 higher low. It failed to break underneath. Since then, it's been a short at in front of 140.40. Down into 140 even. So that's been the range. I've rinsed and repeated that range a couple of times. If it breaks 140, I think, you know, in the next couple of minutes and 18,000 doesn't hold, it probably does it for good. In terms of ARM, I got bids down to VWAP. This time I might hold some for the dream, but I'm getting the majority of this out in front of VWAP if we get a bounce. Just want to make sure that we ring the register on that in what is an uptrending stock. Like, it is upward trending on ARM, but the short has been in front of that 148. I just got the dip in the NIO on VWAP, so we took the first trade at 70, got it at 71s in front of 70, up to 77s. Now you're bouncing into VWAP for NIO. Up 5%, looking strong, being held up a little bit by Li Auto, so I got to watch out for that. Alibaba's making some moves as well, so those have been good ones. If I wasn't in ARM, I probably would be playing this Nvidia VWAP short, but we're in ARM right now. I don't see the need to double those up. I might get back into Intel at some point as well, but let's see if we can't roll with what we have these three positions. I don't want to jump into anything. I am in this, by the way, OSI, just for any, you'll see it on the position board. That is a TSX venture stock that's being bought for $1.80 in cash. So it is a buyout deal. It is not going to move. And if you're watching it, that's not even, it's not a U.S. stock. It's actually on the Toronto Venture Exchange. Just want to make sure you guys were like, because I think there is an OSI in the U.S. markets, and I'm not trading that.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so good look on that one right there. All right, so we're still hoping that, I mean, you could adjust your order to 145.50 here on ARM or something, but again, like it's giving you that bottom again. So, you know, I'll give you the trade ideas and everything like that. How you guys execute against them is up to you. I told you where I'm going to wait a little bit lower here. We have a decent amount of shares, so we'll see if we can get something in. Maybe we'll just buy a 146 here, take advantage of this little dip down for ARM.
It's holding a higher low right now.
Yeah, so we'll just wait. Yeah, exactly. So we've been noticing that the whole time. So just be careful with what's happening here on ARM. It seems to be pretty strong today. We know that there's not a short float problem. There's a low float problem. And so if you go here, I'm going to actually check out what the float is on ARM right now. So here it is right now, ARM Holdings, short float, yeah, so nothing, 0.91. That will get updated and everything as the stats come through. But oops, sorry, not a big issue there. There it is. Oh no, sorry. I thought ARM went down there. It did, but we didn't get the fill. Okay. The 50 period is now a 145 flat. I'm going to bid 146 to get a piece out, see if we can make $1.30, and then try to hold the rest. But right now, ARM is the biggest one for me. And then what a good reload that was. You want to face slap again. Like if you guys are rocking with me, hopefully you are, because today, man, despite Nvidia, we're really, really hot fire, man. We've got AMD 1 for 1, Amazon 2 for 2, ARM 3 for 3, Alibaba big 4 for 4, and then Nvidia 4 for 5. So 4 for 5 today on trade ideas. I hope you guys are hammering those, and that's what that is. So let's wait to see what happens here for us. But right now, Nvidia, still, I feel like that was a great one there, but I haven't been making the right calls. I wonder if we just wait for a top break again, but we are breaking back above. Too bad we didn't get that fill on ARM. This could go right back up to the upside as well for ARM. So 146 and change would have been a good one there.
What was this? I don't know. I just got caught off by guard because these guys are doing some stuff in front of us, Fabian and Ramin. But a new position alert is Tesla bouncing off the 198 level. So we mentioned previous resistance into support. So I got the long in front of it, looking to take some out in front of 199. I'll hold in at 200, but 200 is 200. I will get out in front of 200 and then look for a separate trade off of that level. I did take some out there at the 46 level on ARM, and I am bidding 145 again. I'm just trying to ring the register on this one. And look, I'll be the first to tell you, like, we're both looking short off of this, but it is, if you were going long off VWAP, it's been essentially the same trade, right? Like, you're playing inside of this range, and you'd be going with the trend. So I will acknowledge you can make money in either direction on that trade in ARM, and it is trending to the upside. So there's Tesla. I just got it out in front of the 199. I'm covering in front of 200, and if it breaks 200, that's a separate trade for me, as far as I'm concerned. Google, more of the same. I mean, look, I don't want to call Google boring down here, but it bounces off 140, it gets to 140, 40-ish, and then it pulls back. So it's just kind of rinsing and repeating inside of this range. It's weak until it's not, and the market's well above 18,000. You know what? I'm going to cancel that reload on Alphabet, because look what's happening. I just saw this. The market's trying to take out that pre-market top here. I want to see us curl. Give me some confluence for the short before I reload it, because the market's looking a little bit stronger than I realized. We're actually green. NASDAQ's up 0.17, trying to test that. If we do make a rejection here, I think that would be the spot to look for that reload of any shorts. As we go over to Adara for the small cap recap.
IWM still up after dipping a little bit earlier, still up about 0.5% for the Russell 2000. Lots of small caps running today worth talking about, including frequent runner, microcloud hologram, HOLO. This one running again. No specific news today. Did receive, or it announced that after market close on Friday, it announced that it did receive notice from the NASDAQ that it regained compliance with the minimum bid. It does also have a float of about 1.8 million shares, so really small float here in HOLO. OCEA, this one, no news, really strong. Good look for this one. It also was running later on Friday as well. Float of about 9 million for Ocean Biomedical. Last but not least, Zyversa, ZVSA, this one pulling back a bit, but still up about 70%. It did publish a white paper on Thursday with regards to some neurological disease studies, but also this one does have a float of about 1.58 million shares and a short float of about 12%. So really significant short float and small float for ZYSA, guys.
Like, wow. Okay, I didn't realize. I mean, first of all, I'm watching out for ARM, but look at Alibaba. Wow, we just went twice long down here. I mean, you want to talk about, what's been a good trade here today. It's been Alibaba. I mean, similar to what Neil was talking about with Google there, like Alibaba continues to sort of give you that gift that just really does keep on giving. I didn't even, we just got that fill up there at 40. I had no idea. I was getting some out here at 10s, 15s, 20s here against VWAP and the 200 and the 50. And now we just made it back, almost back to day's high here. Obviously the market's starting to go. So,
yeah, the market's
it's like no surprise there, but nice move up. Anyways, needless to say, and then, some of you asked, why am I not long Amazon?
Tesla.
Good. Tesla should be a good reload here. I think the long is going to be good there. I don't know why. We should have been long Amazon. I mean, we were looking long all day on this name. It is the #1 name here, P&L wise. And honestly, Amazon, should have been longer on this base. I didn't realize it, so. Good for you guys if you guys did. Here goes ARM right now, back upside right now. We'll see, man, 150 coming through. It looks like it wants to take it. ARM blasting through 150 seems more likely than not right here, guys.
Yeah, if it does, I'll look for a fail break. I got out when 78 broke, sort of 48 broke on ARM. I'll look for a short on a fail break, but why am I not short Intel? How did I get away from that stock? So I reloaded Tesla. It might not hold on to 70, 97.50 here. It's trying. We got it once for $1. But VWAP's all the way down at 97. I probably want to play a couple of bounces off that level. So I'll go a relatively tight stop. It's 10:30, and then try re-enter a little bit lower. But as the market was going higher and higher, I'm like, oh, I'm not in Intel. Why am I not short this stock? Because it can't get to VWAP, Neil. That's why I'm not short Intel. It's holding 43 again. Lower highs means stock is weak. Rocket science, that is not. So what I am going to do is go back to square one. And that's not the mall in Saga.
It's actually not a good mall anymore.
No, it's not a good mall anymore. But the short in Intel is still giving you the stair step down the market, holding some strength. What is still weak? Intel is still weak. I am in Google, and I have not reloaded it just yet. I want this market to calm down a little bit here. But it's at that level. It can't seem to break. Look at how weak this is, relatively speaking. Might have to jump back into this one. We said we'd sit it out for a bit, see what the market did. Well, the market got higher, and it still didn't get higher. So there won't be VWAP here for me. I'm just going to play it off 140.5 on Alphabet. We're back into that short. We're back on the offer of Intel. NEO is, for now, holding on to VWAP. You can see I reloaded off VWAP. Not really doing much, just looking for the bounce. We had it on the way up the first time. Now we're into that VWAP bounce, looking for the second salvo to the upside here on NIO, up 5% nicely. ARM's at 150, so it might make this challenge of the 150 level as we speak. I got out when it broke the 48, and I'll sit this one out till it tests this 150.
Yeah, here we go. So we're short right here at 148. This $2 worth of risk for us is fine. We'll wait, but yeah, it looks like it does want to have a little test there. And by the way, when it breaks 150, honestly, this name could go all the way back to all-time highs, take down that 160 easily. So I'm going to get out. Whatever the price it gets me, I'm out. So we'll wait to see what happens here in and around this 150
I have some
area.
Weird conspiracy thing.
Here it is right now. There it goes. It's going to go right now through 150. And so just watch out. If you do have your ARM trades locked and loaded, you might want to get ready to either punch out if you don't have it locked. But here we go. 150. It looks like it's going to break on ARM. So we'll give back what we've made here, because $2 move back to the upside on not like a super full position, but we are holding it against 150. So there it is. Let's see what happens now. If we're lucky enough to get this dipped in a little bit, maybe we'll take something out at 149. But for right now, ARM looks like it's going higher here. Congratulations, anybody that was with this long. The long was good, man. We were long a couple days, and then we flipped it around. So right now, we're going to have to wait to see here. There's the fade off 150, but you had to have taken it up there.
Yeah, you had to
that's
hold
only,
it.
yeah, that's only, well, you didn't have to hold it that bad. It's just, you had to wait for 150, and that's the exact dollar level right there. So here's a little bit of a move down. Let's take advantage of this and get a piece out. Oh, ARM just saved the day on that move down there. All right, good job, ARM. Thank you very much for that one. All right, good. All right, now we're fine and we can relax. But ARM almost broke there. We just took out 25% on the move down. We just got a 148.40 fill, so that was good, man. There it is. Nice move back for ARM. Let's see if it holds the day now up there at 150. Pull back to 147 maybe. I don't know, but I was happy to get some out there for sure. ARM just gave me the scare there of the day so far.
I just went for a lower high play on ARM. I'm going to give it back to those quarters. I went short on the break of 149. Kind of did that before, and it worked the last time. So but another note, I did get out of Tesla on the reload. I want to see this get down into VWAP before I take another shot at the bounce play. Just looks like it's a little bit heavy the second time through. So the first bounce worked, the second bounce, we'll see how it goes. Alphabet is working back into the downside, despite the fact that the market keeps on going higher. I don't know what to tell you. Like, look at Alphabet will not break 140.5 and just continues to play this range inside. So still holding it. I will get a bid out in front of 140 even, and then I'm just looking for this to break down. If the market gives it up, I feel like this name could be down over 3%. As with ARM, I wasn't sitting in front of it at 150, but when it came back in and failed 149, I took the breakdown. I actually got slipped like 30 pennies. But I'll get out some in front of 147 and 146, just like we did before. Want to be able to play the scalp back into the downside on ARM. It has been a bit of a rocket ship. NEO still holding VWAP pretty decently here, and I am back into Intel. I don't know why I got away from this stock, but back into 43, lower highs the whole way. Had a stop out, then had to jump back in. Had a stop out, then had to jump back in. And all roads seem to want to lead to the low of the day on INTC. What else is new, right? These guys have been weak for a hot minute now. Nvidia 800. I just noticed Nvidia failed 800 now. That could be good for the chip shorts.
All right,
that could be good for the chip shorts.
Let's have a quick look at that one. Yeah, that could be good for the chip shorts. But we are in ARM, which isn't really moving. It's all the way back up right now. We did get some 148s out there. This is where my day is right now. I'm going to take a piece out here. Might as well just punch out a little bit. We'll cancel our offers on Alibaba as it's trying to come back in a little bit. So we'll punch out 38, 37s there and just wait to see if that's what's going to happen. Let's check in on SMCI quickly, see if there's anything happening there. 857 and change. AMD is going to be a good one as well. Can't believe how lucky we've been on crypto here today, buying some of that over the weekend and then just watching what's happening today. Was not expecting that much of a move, but here we go. We do have a number out right now. Let's go over to the desk with Adaro and crypto as well.
Switching on that Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index coming out right now. Forecast is -8. Previous was 27.4, so we're just waiting for this number to come in at 10:30. We also do have, of course, a lot to talk about with crypto with regards to this move back into that 52,000 area, which we will discuss in just a moment once we get that Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index, which just came in here at -11.3, so lower than the expected -8 here, guys, for the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index. In terms of an interesting crypto story, MicroStrategy, definitely some stuff to talk about here. The stock is up about 14.5%, but really interesting saying that they acquired about 3,000 Bitcoin for roughly $155 million in cash. So that's about almost 52,000 per Bitcoin. These were acquired between February 15th and February 25th. And in total, all of their aggregate Bitcoins, about 193,000. So just a little update for MicroStrategy with regards to their Bitcoin holdings. Bitcoin itself, really strong here, coming back into that previous area that we kind of had that range, right now, just above that 52,000 area after falling down a little bit earlier last week, seeing a bit of a move back to the upside here for BTC. And a lot of these other cryptocurrencies also really strong. Bitcoin up about 1.5%. Ethereum well over that 3,000 level now, just at 3,000. 100 up about 2%, BNB up 2%, Solana up almost 1%, Cardano up 2.7%, guys. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Just sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV. Capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout.
So I just took some out of ARM on the way back in here. It has, look, the stock has been trending to the upside. I think you got to ring the register when you can. Higher lows, higher highs, but into that 150. It curled underneath 149. I just got to fill down 147.5, and I like VWAP here. It's been holding that pretty well. I'm going to get on the bid. If we get down to VWAP, take the money and run on this name. Google just broke 140 again, so I want to, why am I bidding? I hate bidding right underneath the low. I'm going to go to the 50s here. If the market does flush, this has been weak the entire time, so I want it to hold this level, break down 40s, give me the 139.5, and Intel in the money about 8 cents or so. Only long I have on is Rivian. Sorry, is Neo. We're not long Rivian. I had Rivian on my brain. Sorry about that. But I'm canceling my bids on Rivian because if I like Neo bouncing off VWAP, Rivian is bouncing off VWAP as we speak. So this has also been strong. It just did this wick underneath VWAP and then held 130.5. So 1035, I should say, 130.5. I'm thinking about Google too much, the 130s. But I'm going to go for the long on Rivian as well. Nice bounce off VWAP. You can see the strength just came back into it. So relief rally happening on some of the EV names. You already saw Tesla moving. I'm going to jump into some Rivian. I like Rivian at the $10 bounce. I'll slap the fail on myself. You could easily have just shorted. You could have gone long 5s and 6s. I was waiting like 1 cent underneath. Sometimes you really, really want 1s, 2s, and 3s in front of 10 bucks. And then you get married to that even dollar level. And when you do that, you miss a chance because when this bounces, it can go to 1050. So really to be nitpicky about a cent or two down there when you could start to position at 5s and 6s, I think that's a fail, so I'll slap the fail on myself. All you can do is make the next trade, which to me is holding a VWAP here, give it to this 1030. So long that and Neo, a couple EV names. Weird because they've been in the penalty box for a while now.
All right. We have tons of bangers today, honestly, man. I mean, I hope you guys are having a good time. One more time here today. Yes, please. Wow. Thank you so much. I'm all about that. And that's just been some good luck because there's a dollar as our AMD coming to the downside right now. If you guys shorted that off that 177.50, the 200 period moving average, looky what we just saw there on AMD. I mean, very similar. I'm going to assume Nvidia was something similar there at 800. And yes.
Very, very similar.
Yes, it was right there. So very similar call there. Good call on that one. As we continue to look around, man, I mean, this is what these levels are. Like we keep saying, you trade what they give you. ARM, nice downside move. We already got that. We got 147 flat there. Sorry, 147.15. That was a good bid ahead of the 200. We're still hoping for a crank lower, guys, on this one. So let's see if we can get it. Alibaba we're already out of, and we're looking for some more trades right now. Amazon, if it does pull back. How's our Nike long at 100 looking that we've discussed many times? So 105 and change, not really moving around. Showed up on the, that's why. I was going to say it showed up on the scanner because it's bouncing right there. And again, those of you that are taking long-term investment advice, seems like it's been a little bit better here now because look what the heck is happening with PanW. Even as this report came out, I was telling you guys that this was a major holding. Major holding. The only holding that I have in cybersecurity, and it's been one for such a very long time. But it came down into 260 there. Nice hold up to 303. Congratulations. I actually just realized this right now. I didn't have PanW on my scanner, so I'm not even sure why. But right there, it's a nice move up. So I've added it now. So I feel like I would have noticed that down there at VWAP and maybe done something about that earlier. So we've just put PanW on there. Look how strong this name is today. Not even really pullbacks. I mean, that pullback is about $1, which I guess that would classify. But you're up now 18 bucks here, like 286, 304, monster move upside there for PanW right there. And a good out for us on ARM, but it's starting to get spicy right back up to the upside as Alibaba continues its trek higher. A 4-in-1 day over here. Palantir goes boom? No, that's okay. I like Palantir going boom for sure, as this is starting to become a decent holding for myself as well. And we were looking at 2250 for that break lower there on the daily chart, but that did not come through. Waiting to short Palantir, says Pitchbull.
Really? Interesting.
Well, it's getting up to your levels, and what might you be looking at for the short? I mean, I can't blame you because that's it right there, 75. You got it, man. That's a good little level. I just worry about the market. Like, you're already up 3%. The market's clearly bounced off 18,000. This is making all the shorts very, very nervous. And Palantir is another one of those names that they tried to bring down. So just watch out for that short. I like the call. I would say watch out for 24 break. Something like that. And then maybe you'll get out for another 65 cents here on ARM because honestly, man, this is getting to be a little too spicy. I'll put another bid down at 147 in case it flushes again. ARM might not want to go down here.
It's been trending up relative to some of the other chip names. I think it's pretty obvious. You know, at this point, like ARM is just continuing to trend higher. Like you can get curls on it, but it's not really following through. And that's sort of the issue. Like you can find relative weakness elsewhere. Like Intel, like this is relatively a weak name. It's just plain to see. I have a couple longs, but they're both in EV names, and that OSI is like, OSI. That's just a buyout stock and trading on the venture. So don't worry. And again, if you're not trading with direct market access, you're probably not caring about a stock like that to take spreads. Alphabet is trying to break the low as the market's breaking high. So I like the relative weakness of Alphabet, but it needs to break this low soon. Otherwise, the NASDAQ is just going to carry it with it, and it breaks out that top. So you want to profit on some of your shorts if you can get bounces down as the NASDAQ's trying to take out these highs. But one thing that we have not traded today that I hope Patrick is trading today is, like, Mara is up 15%. This is the most significant pullback it's had all morning. Like this last 80-cent move down, $4 move on Mara today. Suffice to say, crypto is moving around a little bit here. If this gets into VWAP, it would be a nice little bounce zone. I like that 27 level as well. 27 was a big rejection last week, the last time it did this, so holding on to that would be just a little bit bullish. It makes total sense to me that you get a bit of a pullback here off of 28, but if it can hold out around 27 bucks, man, that'd be a nice little bit of a dip buy. So I'll hang on to Google, take another leg if it breaks low of the day. ARM, I'm not reloading that. Intel will work with that short, and then VWAP longs on both Rivian and NEO. But got to be paying attention to some Mara here. That looks like an absolute rocket ship, and it's not alone. I mean, Coinbase, Coinbase is up double digits as well. There isn't even a red candle on the 15-minute in Coinbase. Sheesh.
These things are beastly, and there it is again. Face slap one more time. Let's go, ARM. All right, man. Wow. Wow. From, really having some, I don't want to say mistakes, but, taking a shot on Nvidia, which we're here to do, which is fine, but basically making it all back. This ARM right now has been a real good trade, man. We just got 147.20s, which is right here. So you guys can obviously get these with me. We're now $2. 1, 2. We said we had a lot. Thank you so much, Magic 8 Ball and everybody out there. Thank you so much for everything, because this is not easy to put this out, especially coming off the sort of high, natural high that we had on Friday from just absolutely putting on a show for everybody there on Friday. And again, thank you for all the kind words again about that, man. Like, you guys are giving the words about the recap show, the podcast, the trading, everything, man. This is why Trader TV Live is here. We're here for everybody and make this as best experience as we possibly can, and try to give you guys as much trading opportunities as possible, right? I mean, giving the sticky note, giving Neil's midday wrap or midday lesson of some sort. What's
the lesson of the day.
Lesson of the day, right there. So that as well. And then
I got some ideas today too.
Good midday lessons, midday trading over there as well. Today they're doing Dow theory. Should be important. I'm going to be very interested in that. So we'll see what's up with the Dow theory today. So shout out to Adair. Yeah, sure. Speaking of a Dow, let's go.
Amazon.
Yeah, man, love Amazon.
Amazon, look at the level, just very quickly. I know we're going to go to Adair in a quick little second. 175.90. Look at this, like, sometimes it's clear as day. Like, Google's doing something very similar at the low of the day, but Amazon right up here, if that's not a key level, pre-market support turning into resistance at 175.85. I just noticed that now, so I thought I'd throw it out there. Now, it's doing that at a different area than what Google's doing it at the low, but if you're looking for places to fade or maybe a breakout later on in the day, those are the kind of levels that I try to pay attention to. I'm on the bid. I just missed ARM just now. I just missed ARM on that dip. On the way back up, I tried to grab it back through 147. It's stair-stepping down. I want to take my profit and run. But I do believe we are ready to see what is going on in some other sectors because we talked a lot about the chips and the EVs. Let us know what's good, Adara.
Lots of chip strength in that electronic technology sector, but it's also worth noting tech services, a little bit of positivity here. CRM up after getting some price target increases ahead of its earnings after close on Wednesday. Adobe and Netflix all also quite strong, along with Palo Alto Networks, as noted by Sean a couple of minutes ago as well. Google really the only notable name to the downside, though the other mega caps in this sector, notably Microsoft and Meta, pretty much flat on the day here. A little bit of mixed sentiment in finance and health technology. Worth noting in finance as well. BRAKB very much waffling a little bit to the upside, a little bit to the downside after its earnings released over the weekend. Producer manufacturing very strong here. Retail trade trying to get some strength to the upside amidst a good look for Target, Costco, and Walmart here. Energy minerals also strong. Consumer durables led by Tesla to the upside. In terms of weakness, main thing to talk about here is utilities, pretty much right across the board. Communications also a little weak right now, guys.
Thank you very much there, Adara. Intel into VWAP. So, I've been waiting for that all morning. I guess got a bit of an echo in there. That was weird. Into VWAP. If it breaks out from here, I'm going to jump out. If it curls, I add back into it and work back down into the bottom on this name. Google just bounced 140 again. You got to be kidding me. So it looks like that 140 is just a lot of buy support on Alphabet, but the first look here is going to be for Intel for me off of VWAP. If it curls underneath this 15 level, 43.15 that is, I look to re-enter underneath VWAP and then play it back down into the low. The other VWAP plays are on the EV names that we have to the long side. ARM, we're just going to be patient with it. I see SOUN, a shout out to anybody that has it. Congratulations on this small cap runner. It's doing a nice little consolidation off of the top, up 13%. But running into some resistance if it gets to the $5. It is a double top breakout here at 450. I haven't double checked to see specifically if there's anything new on it, but these guys were rallying anytime Nvidia went up. So, I mean, it could just be a sympathy play in the AI space. Just watch out for that 450. Double top here on SOUN.
So I'm feeling like we just have to get a little jiggy with Tesla at some point here. I'm going to give a big shout out once again for Obi just in the back there. Congrats to Obi one more time. Leading the way. I got to talk to Obi about get some good trade ideas here. All right, so that's 200 to the top side there. I'm actually just wondering about a 199 break, to be honest with you, how strong this name is right now for Tesla. We'll see. I still like that 200 break. I'm just debating it right here, right now for Tesla. Bounced off the 50, didn't even, I mean, it came somewhat close to VWAP a little. Well, I guess it did, I guess. Actually, it's pretty tight range, actually. So, yeah, it did come close to VWAP. So that's even better for us. 197 and change. So here goes the 199. Let's keep our eye on that. I mean, I know we're $1.50 or so in the money on ARM and then 28 cents on Alibaba. But yeah, that's going to be something there for sure. You know what name I was looking at? I want to see this at 200 first. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to try to be patient. Looks like Tesla does have the juice there. Let's go. Bring it back in, ARM. ARM's going to be the number one. I mean, profitable names today, ARM, Amazon. Wow, we're 4-1. We've already talked about that. So that's that. All right, we're going to look at this one here. I want to look at Intel. So look at Intel. It's at VWAP. So it's already come across the scanner side here. I don't really know what I want to do because Nvidia is still a fade for sure. It's not breaking 8 bills. So I feel like Intel is probably worth the try right now upside here on this name. So we'll try it. We'll punch a little bit here and see, but I'm a little worried that Intel does take out some of these levels. What about just 43.30, something like that if we're wrong? So we'll hold on to this. So the two shorts that we have right now are Intel and ARM. And then that's it, man. And Alibaba long. So we'll test these out right here, and then we'll wait. But again, congratulations to anybody that's having a nice green day today. It's nice to start your Mondays off on that side. So here goes Intel right now. So let's just be careful with this one. The chips are hot, and Intel is actually up more than the market today. So weirder things have happened. Intel could actually go up sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely can. The thing about Intel is this bottom has been it, 4250. Just come to the 15-minute chart. Like it bottomed like multiple times around this price. So it does feel like it's at a bit of a support level. I'm gonna wait until it gets a little bit tighter to the 4340s where we were originally short, because that was the best one. But as Tesla goes higher, like Rivian, I think Rivian's got room to get to like 10.5. So I am in the 1037 long. That's actually 37.5. It's going to round up to 38. Sometimes it rounds up, sometimes they round down. But I do think there's some room for this to continue going. I have that in NEO as Tesla makes this push into 200. I was long twice in Tesla. First time we got the buck, the second time tight stop. I think it's just a 200 break at this point. Super strong name. I'm not reloading ARM yet. I think it can be valid again, maybe failing the 150 level, but I'll be really patient with this rocket ship to the upside. Even Google is testing my patience, the short in Alphabet. It's super weak, but look at the hold of 140 level. As a matter of fact, looking at this, it seems insane not to take some out here at the 140. Respect the price level, man. I'm just going to get somewhere out the 140. If it comes up to view up, I can reload. If it breaks lower, then we'll hold on to this short all day. It might be relatively weak, and we've said this before. You want to trade relative strength and weakness, but man, if the market just keeps on breaking higher, you can't tell me at some point Google's not going to bounce. And there's some accumulation down here at 140. I want to buy this thing at lunchtime, just get a little bit of a piece in the long term. But for now, we're playing the shorts.
I like Google. All right, so we'll watch out here what's happening. Yeah, I mean, we should have punched Tesla. We talked about that at 199. It's okay. It's not really moving too much, but we like this name for the long for sure. Breaking through 2 bills is definitely going to be something. You could easily hit that trade. I don't think there's any problems with it. Let's just look to see. So the last time we were at 200, hovered around there on the 16th. 280, what's this top right there? 201.35. I mean, obviously you would take that. If that can go, you'd like to get that kind of a break. But breaker 19, do you read me? Because right now we are looking at Intel. And if this comes into the 12s, we'll just do it again right now. I've been talking about this, man. Like, Intel's one of my #1 stocks since the new year. We just keep shorting it, and we just keep on rinsing this stock like over and over again, man. Another good trade here off this. We're only short at 18s. We'll take a small piece at 12 just because I'm surprised when we went over here to see where this is. My bids are really at 8s there to take a dime, and then the 50-period moving average is at 43 flat. So we'll try it down there if we're lucky enough to get it. But my fish is being fried up right now with ARM. This is my big guy right here is going to be ARM. So if this one wants to continue to go, good. But it's trying to bounce off 147. Like, I'm staring $1.50 in the face right now. So just look at the difference. Google's moving like 20, 30 cents. You play the range. This is like a $2 range. So you got to like possibly play the same type of thing. When it's up there at 149, you could short this, and it's right back into 147 again. So I am going to put a bid down here at 147 and see if we could take it. My next bid was down here at 145. So if we can crack a little bit lower, we should just probably take this right here, right now. So we'll do that on ARM if we're lucky enough to do that. And Alibaba still moving around as well. It's over to Adara.
The USD to the downside here today, just below that 104 area right now, about 104 or 103.80. Sorry, we did get some economic data earlier today, including U.S. new home sales for January coming slightly lower than the estimate here. So we got 661,000 versus the expected 680,000. We also have lots of new economic data on the horizon for later this week. We have the second estimate for GDP quarter-over-quarter growth. That's going to be coming on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we get the PCE index, which is the Fed's favorite or preferred engagement or inflation gauge. So that'll be really important to keep an eye on that PCE index coming on Thursday, guys. Also of note, we have some notes from the ECB, one of its governing council members, saying that the European Central Bank actually faces more problems than the Fed due to some issues with the banking system in the euro area. So this actually has led the euro to have a little bit of an increase over the USD on the daily chart here, guys. A little bit of a boost for the euro.
A bit of a boost for the EVs today.
Really?
Tesla's made some, trying to make some power moves into Europe. You don't see a lot of them out there because they have tighter roads and you don't have that little small form vehicle, which I think is going to be great for Tesla. But if Tesla breaks 200, I'm banking on it taking Rivian with it. So I want that to be a rocket ship. That said, we're bouncing off VWAP. I'm taking some profit out in front of the high on Rivian. And then if it breaks out the top, look to ride that next wave up because Tesla, one of the stronger names out there today, this is what's happening. It's going to make this 200 break. I feel like any second now. I'm still trying to get out the 146 for the last of my arm trade, but the next thing that happens is probably a test of this 200. It rejected it huge the first time pulling back into 197.50. I went 1 for 2 buying the dips, but now it's that $200 level. Going to hang on to these dip buys in the other EV names, but the big bad boy, Tesla, is testing 200. Adara again?
Yeah, quick note here. Stock not super reacting to this here right now, but keep an eye on AAPL. Getting a report here from Bloomberg that Apple's looking to expand its offerings of wearable devices. Some of these could potentially include a fitness ring, smart glasses, and actually AirPods with cameras, as reported by Bloomberg. So keep an eye on AAPL with regards to that news, guys.
All right, everyone's favorites. Do it. It's what's for lunch today. We'll do this. We only have 7 more minutes here. All right, potato. That's a pretty good one. No chicken today. I'll bury the lead. All right, get down, Arm, honestly. All right, here's today's menu. Potato and cheddar pierogies. By the way, my daughter is crushing shrimp dumplings like they don't even exist anymore. It's crazy. It's like, as she gets older, just like her tastes is getting more exquisite, which is costing me a hell of a lot more money, so thanks for that. Potato. She goes the other day to me, she goes, I hate craft dinner. So I'm like, okay, great. Potato and cheddar pierogies with roasted sausage and caramelized onions. So I'm going to say props up for that one. That should be a tasty treat today with the pierogies. Shout out to some Ukrainian friends over there with potato and cheddar pierogies, roasted sausage, and caramelized onions. We say, Stone Cold Steve Austin style, and we'll see how far down Arm can go. We're $2 in the money right now. We'll see if it can get even further than this. We're still going to bid this 146. We'll see if we can get a bid down there at 146 and go from there. So we'll see if it gets a little bit lower. We're waiting for that play to come through. We could take it right now for $2. Take it if you want it. We're trying to put some damage on the board here with Arm. See how low this name can get going into 146. We'll sit there, we'll take a bid. The play is to get out if it breaks 50s. So again, like, it's 2-1. We're short at 149. We could have just taken 147 flat there and didn't. So you guys take it if you want. I'm going to be sitting here playing this for the short side. Intel's not doing anything, and Alibaba's still 35 cents in the money.
So Tesla made the break of 200. It got to 22s, which is really not much of a break at all. I'm giving it to the 50 level. It just got back up and saw 200 with a decent size offer. It was about half the shares it had the first time. So we took the breakout. I'm going to give it to the 50s, and then I'm going to look right back into VWAP or 198 for the dip buy on Tesla. Rivian's holding up pretty well. It's a bit of a... It's not the same thing saying long Tesla, long Rivian, long Lucid, because they are recovery plays, those names, whereas Tesla has been a little bit stronger. But even if this fails, if we get there a third time, because that's once, now twice, I'd still try the long the third time through. So I'm going to get out of Tesla. We'll take the L there. It was good on the dip. Now the breakout's going to end up failing us, but I don't think we're done. Tesla's still a relatively strong name. I'm going to look for the bid off of 198 or just simply the third time through at 200. Going to take those pot shots at it. I will still hold Rivian. Rivian's a different story. Rivian is a dip buy off of VWAP. I'll play some if it breaks the 1050. Look for the lower high off VWAP one more time here. The trend is your friend till the end when it bends. That's an Obiism, so I'll stick with it. ARM and Google, those have been shorts the entire way. Google breaking the low of the day and now continuing to be weak. The difference is pretty stark here. The NASDAQ is trend up. Google's trend down. So we've taken 4 different trades here on Alphabet. The first was a breakdown trade that didn't work. Then the rest was simply shorting it off of the 140.5. Market's up, Alphabet's down, 3%. That just feels like a bit much. There isn't like a specific catalyst here, but it's arrows down here on Alphabet. I like the company, I like the stock, but today it's a bit of a dog.
So, you know, just an update to everybody. Like, besides Nvidia, which we got out of the way here at 9:35, it's been a crazy day here. We have tons. Like, if it wasn't for Nvidia, it would be a trophy, but we have Nvidia, so you can't worry about it. But again, congratulations, everybody trading here today. There's some big winners there. That Tesla I didn't take it because, again, I'm short some other names, but I still do like that 200 shot there. We'll see if that can come into play. The market's not doing anything here, so that's going to be like a little caveat to that. Still waiting for that, and looking for more. So, okay. Shopify, new highs. Wow. Oh, by the way, yeah, Shopify's actually done really well for itself. So there goes Shopify. Shout out to Canada, of course, as we like Shopify, but again, bouncing, got to get above 80. The name that I want to talk about quickly was I just tweeted it out, like, what a good trade Pan W was, man. Those were some good ideas that we had on the market recap show. We talked about 3 days there. If you bought the third day, you're long today, like in and around that 280. So congratulations for that kind of a play for all of you that wound up doing that, man. And good job there trading through Pan W. We're long 274, 273 on the reload. It's just an average position. I've been holding this for quite a while. So, all right, Palantir was a good idea. Good job there, Patrick. Thank you for watching one more time. And if you still are here, man, make sure you hit the like and the subscribe as we get ready to throw you over to the midday show. That should be a lot of fun there as Fabian is filming some social media stuff there. So shout out to social media stuff, and we'll get that going. I got to give a big shout out to Lucas, to Fabian, everybody over there, because you know the amount of work that these guys are doing, not just on that side, but also now on the social media side, has been really nice. So a couple good posts there. We'll post some more stuff up. Thank you at Trader TV Sean, at Trader TV Live, Trader TV Neil. You have a period in yours on Instagram, but I don't think you're really on that. At Trader TV Neil, and Brendan on Twitter.
Yes, sir. And if you're watching, the market just made a bit of a left turn. I guess it's a right turn when you go down. It's not a left turn. A bit of a right turn. We only got 2 minutes to go. I just want to point out the NASDAQ here, maybe retesting that 18,000 level. So when you take the bigger picture look, you double tapped 18.1, and then today we're putting in a bit of a lower high. That's not necessarily the most bullish for the day if we end up failing the 18,000, because we never made a run at that top. But it's early. It can be considered an inside day for some. I just want to get to one name that we have not mentioned today, which I'm going to put on the radar. Google's been really weak, but Meta, look at it hold inside this range. If the market fails, it's down a little bit more than the overall market. The market's up, NASDAQ's up 0.17, Meta's down 0.37, and you're seeing it play inside. If it doesn't hold on to 481, I'd look even 480 breaks, but that's all about what happens with this market. I think Google's going to maintain the short all the way down into 139. If it breaks 139 even, I think that's a separate trade. You can see the support from last week right down here. I want to be out in front of that and then take the money and run on Alphabet. Rivian's holding out pretty decently, so we're going to hang on to that long. Neil's holding VWAP. The Chinese the Chinese ADRs have been a bit of a different story, so hopefully they can hang on to some of their strength. But it looks like the NASDAQ's starting to roll over quite a bit here, Sean.
Yeah, not my stocks aren't really doing anything. I don't think it's the chip name. So Intel's still relatively high.
Apple's at the low. It's
right now. Yeah, it's nothing.
The non-chip names in the NASDAQ.
Yeah, Apple breaking down through 180 here as well. That could be definitely a trade. Thank you so much for everybody watching. Again, it's been a banger of a day. Needless to say, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we're still pending 5 and 1 right now with Intel. So again, hopefully you guys are able to, see some of the trades, take the trades you like, avoid the ones you don't like, and more importantly, understand everything that we're doing. And if you don't, then you're going to get some explanation right now because, we talk about Dow theory so much.
All the time, every day.
Yeah, every day. So we're going to throw that over right now. Thank you so much for watching. Another good one. Me and Neil are back at 2 o'clock. So we will see you then. And now over to the midday show. It is Adara and Sharif with Dow theory.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl Adara, and I'm Sharif.